to Say Less I Love You? Are you ready for some twisty fun? Let's meet our cast.
Hi, I'm Jacob Stone, CEO of Stone Hospital Group.
And I'm Nyla Thomas, the best nurse this hospital has ever seen.
Or so she'd like to think. I'm Lori, her best friend.
The name's Derek Radcliffe. I'm Jacob's incredibly handsome lawyer.
Hilda Stone, Jacob's mother.
Hey there, I'm Trixa, Jacob's first love.
Emphasis on first. Anyway, we're the cast of Say Less I Love You, Tyla Walker's brand new serial.
And now, let's start the show.
Chapter 1. Nyla. Take them up to surgery. Dr. Beam yells over the noise, pointing to a stretcher carrying a woman whose leg looks like it's barely hanging on. Blood paints my scrubs like some twisted Jackson Pollock piece. The ER is a symphony of chaos. Doctors shouting orders, machines beeping, and the groans of the injured. I press down on a man's chest, counting compressions, my muscles screaming for relief. I release a breath I didn't know I was holding when the man's heartbeat returns under my hands. "He's back," I shout, moving to wrap another patient's arm that's mangled beyond recognition. "Quick thinking, Nyla. That's a wrap," Dr. Fitzpatrick says as he passes by, barely glancing at me before he's on to the next crisis. I step out of the chaos and into the narrow hallway, pressing my back against the cold wall. The cacophony inside the ER fades, replaced by the steady hum of fluorescent lights and distant chatter. I wipe my forehead with the back of my hand, smearing blood across my skin. It's not mine, but it doesn't matter. It's just another day in paradise. The alarm on my watch rings. Time for my actual scheduled shift to start. Not this one, which I picked up at the last minute for some extra cash. "Here we go, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed," I mutter to myself. I make my way to the nurse's station, ready to start the day, or, well, continue the day rather, seeing as I've been here since 7 p.m. last night. "Morning, Nyla. Ready for another day in paradise?" asks Jen, the charge nurse, her eyebrows doing a little dance above her glasses. "Always," I say, giving her a wink. "Who's first on the hit list?" Jen hands me a clipboard. "Mr. Delaney in room 4. Fell from a tall scaffolding on the work site. Probably a workers' comp situation?" Those are my favorite," I reply, flipping through the pages. My eyes scan the notes. 30-year-old male, concussion, small head laceration, possible bruised ribs. A voice calls from behind. It's Lori, my right hand, and best friend. She's holding 2 cups of coffee, one of which she offers to me. "You look like you need this." "Lori, you're a lifesaver," I say, taking the cup. The first sip warms me, cutting through the sterile chill of the hospital. "Spill the tea. What's the gossip over in ICU?" "Nothing special," she says. "Oh, there's a new intern. Cute, but clueless. Dr. Harris nearly canned him 2 hours into his shift." "Can't wait to see that," I laugh. "All right, duty calls, lunch in the cafe on break." "You know I can't turn down hospital cafeteria meatloaf. I'll be counting down the hours," Lori says with an eye roll as she walks away to check on her own patients. I step inside room number 4, checking the chart in my hand. The guy on the bed stirs with a groan. Despite his bruised face, I can't help but notice just how handsome he is. His stark jawline, his shaggy blonde hair. My thoughts are only further personified as he slowly opens up his striking blue eyes, orienting himself with his surroundings. "Good afternoon, Mr. Delaney," I say, pulling up a stool. "How are you feeling?" He rubs his forehead and squints at me. "Like I got hit by a truck. Twice," I laugh. "Well, you did take quite a tumble. Tell me your name." "Ryan," he mutters, wincing as he tries to sit up. "What happened anyway?" "You had a little disagreement with gravity," I say, glancing at his chart again. "Landed yourself a nice concussion, some stitches, and a couple of bruised ribs." Great, he mutters, running a hand through his hair. Well, look at the bright side, I say, adjusting his IV. You're still alive to tell the tale. He chuckles as his eyes scan me, then winces. Pretty sure I won't be mentioning this to anyone. I find myself smiling at him. So, any family I should call? Wife? Girlfriend? Let them know you're in one piece? Ryan shakes his head. Is this your way of asking me if I'm single? He asks with a sly grin. Just hospital policy, I respond, sensing that's not the answer he was anticipating. His confidence wavers. Nah, I'm good. It's just me. All right, Mr. Delaney, I say, jotting down some notes. Let's get you checked out, okay? Ryan shifts on the bed, trying to find a comfortable position, when Zara, a fellow nurse in the third tier of the Three Musketeers, as Lori and I so cleverly call it, saunters in. Morning, Nyla. Did you get your coffee from Lori? I'm about to respond when her eyes lock onto Ryan, and I can practically see the gears turning in her head. She adjusts her posture, sticking her chest out, and gives him a sultry smile. Well, hello there, handsome, Zara purrs, basically pushing her chest in his face as she leans over to check his IV, though I know it doesn't need adjusting. How are you feeling? Ryan glances at her, then looks back at me. I've been better, he says, clearly uninterested. Zara's not deterred. She leans in closer, brushing her arm against his. You're in good hands here. We'll take great care of you. I stifle a laugh. Zara's antics are as transparent as glass. I can't help but admire her persistence, though. Thanks, Ryan says, still looking at me. Nurse Nyla has done a pretty good job at handling it. Zara's smile falters for a second, but she recovers quickly. Let me get you some ice. I'm sure you're parched. That saline has a way of making your mouth dry, she says, giving him one last lingering look before sashaying out of the room. As soon as she's gone, Ryan lets out a breath. Does she always come on that strong? I chuckle. More often than not. She's harmless, though. Good to know, he says, eyes twinkling. I'd rather focus on getting better and talking to you. Smooth talker, huh? I say, raising an eyebrow. You sure you didn't hit your head harder than we thought? He laughs, then winces, clutching his side. Okay, maybe no more jokes for a bit. Deal, I say, adjusting his pillow. Zara returns with a cup of ice. She hands the cup to Ryan, who takes it with a polite nod, then promptly ignores her to focus on me. Thanks, Zara, I say, trying to keep things professional. Ryan, let's see how you're doing with your vision. Can you read the first line of the chart over there on the wall? Ryan smirks, his blue eyes locked on mine. Speaking of vision, I don't think I've ever had a nurse as beautiful as you. I laugh, shaking my head. Must be the pain meds talking. Not a chance, he insists, winking. Zara crosses her arms, leaning against the wall. You sure you're feeling okay, Ryan? Sometimes a concussion can make people speak strangely. He doesn't even glance her way. Oh, I'm sure. I mean every word. I stifle a laugh, trying to stay focused. Any pain in your ribs? Only when I breathe, he says, still grinning. But it's worth it if I get to look at you. Zara huffs, clearly irritated. Ryan, if you need anything else, just let me know. I can be here in a heartbeat. Thanks, Liz got everything under control, he replies, his tone dismissive. Zara's patience snaps. Nyla, can you come look at these lab numbers real quick? She asks, her voice tight. Sure, I say, turning to Ryan. I'll be right back. I step outside the room with Zara, who immediately rounds on me. What is all that about? Do you know that guy? I sigh, rubbing my temples. I know him as my patient as of 15 minutes ago. Zara, he's on strong medication. He's not thinking straight. Right, she scoffs. Like you believe that? Look, I say, trying to stay calm. I'm here to do my job. If he wants to flirt, that's his business. But I'm not encouraging it. If it were me, I'd encourage it, she smiles, crossing her arms. Zara, this a hospital, not a glorified dating pool, I say firmly. We're professionals, remember? Fine, Debbie Downer, she responds with a huff. I blindly reach for the hand sanitizer dispenser. It's muscle memory by now, and head back into the room. Everything okay? Ryan asks. Oh yeah, just looking at some numbers on my other patients. Let's take a look at this head lack, I say, inching forward to check out the nasty cut on his scalp. I lean in closer, my fingers grazing his hair. Do you always take such good care of your patients? He asks, voice low. I'd like to think so. It kind of goes with the job, I reply with a smirk, trying to keep things light. I see, he says, grinning. Before I can respond, the door flies open, and Lori bursts in, her face pale and eyes wide. My heart sinks immediately. It's your grandpa? The room spins for a second, and I feel like the air's been sucked out. I shoot up from the stool, nearly knocking it over. My heart plummets as Lori's words sink in. Grandpa, I don't waste a second. Ryan, I've got to go, I say, my voice barely steady. Lori, take over. Lori nods, understanding and worry etched on her face. Go. I'll handle everything here. I dash out of the room, my mind racing. Grandpa's been here almost a year, fighting R&D. He's in an induced coma to buy us time, but time's a fickle friend. I speed walk through the hallways, the sterile smell of the hospital intensifying with each step. Nurses and doctors rush by, snippets of their conversations blending into a chaotic symphony. I sprint down the hallway, my shoes squeaking against the polished floor. My heart's pounding, drowning out everything else. The ICU door looms ahead. Stopped, nearly colliding with the Dr. Patel, his face grim. What's going on? I ask, trying to catch my breath. Is he okay? Dr. Patel shakes his head. His condition has worsened. The R&D is progressing faster than we anticipated. I feel like the floor has been pulled out from under me. What can we do? There's a treatment, he says, her voice cautious. It's part of a clinical trial, but it's expensive, Nyla. Prohibitively so. How expensive? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. He hesitates, then says, We're talking 6 figures, and it's not covered by insurance. My stomach drops. I can't afford that, I say, my voice cracking. There has to be another way. Dr. Patel sighs. I wish there was, but this trial is his best shot. Without it, I don't need him to finish the sentence. The weight of his words crashes down on me, and I feel tears pricking at the corners of my eyes. I can't lose Grandpa. He's all I have left. Is there any way to get him in without the money? I ask, desperation creeping into my voice. Unfortunately, no, he says, shaking his head. The trial is privately funded, and they're strict about their criteria. I swallow hard, trying to keep it together. How much time do we have? Days, maybe a week, Dr. Patel says softly. I'm so sorry, Nyla. I nod, unable to speak. My mind races. Trying to think of a solution, any solution, but all I can see are dollar signs and a ticking clock. Thank you, Dr. Patel, I managed to say, my voice shaking. I need to go see him. He nods, placing a hand on my shoulder. Take your time. If you need anything, let me know. I walk to Grandpa's room, my legs feeling like lead. The door's slightly ajar, and I peek inside. He's lying in the bed, hooked up to machines, looking more frail than I've ever seen him. I sit beside his bed, the steady beep of the heart monitor the only sound in the room. His hand feels cold in mine, the warmth of life slowly slipping away. My chest tightens as I look at his peaceful face, the lines of age etched deep into his skin. This isn't how it's supposed to end. Not like this. "Grandpa," I whisper, even though I know he can't hear me. What am I gonna do?
Chapter 2. Jacob. The first rays of dawn filter through the curtains, nudging me awake. My arm flops to the side, expecting the cool expanse of empty sheets, but instead, it lands on something warm and decidedly human. "Trixa?" My voice is a growl, and I jerk my arm back like it's touched a live wire. "Morning, Jacob," she purrs, stretching like a cat. Her golden hair spills over my pillow, and for a moment, I almost forget the venom that hides behind that angelic face. "What the hell are you doing here?" I sit up, yanking the sheets away. I change the locks. She smirks, running a finger down my arm. "You think a lock can keep me away? Please. We need to talk." "Talk?" I scoff, swinging my legs over the side of the bed. "Last I checked, we were done talking the minute you decided to screw my cousin in the bathroom during our family Thanksgiving dinner." Her smile falters, but she recovers quickly, her eyes narrowing. "Jacob, please, if you would let me explain." "Save it." I stand up, grabbing my pants from the floor. I've heard all the excuses. I don't need another round of your twisted justifications. She sits up, the sheets falling away to reveal her bare shoulders. "You can't deny we had something special. We were good together." "Maybe until you nuked it," I say as I yank on my jeans. "Look, Trixa, you need to leave. Now." "Jacob, please," she pleads, her voice softer now, almost vulnerable. "I miss you. I miss us." I grab my shirt and throw it on too, the fabric cool against my skin. Trixa's eyes flash with a mixture of anger and desperation as she reaches for me again, but I sidestep her grasp. "Jacob, don't be like this," she whines, her voice losing its sultry edge. "We can fix this." I button up my shirt, each click a punctuation to my growing irritation. "There's nothing to fix, Trixa. We're done. Finished. Over." She huffs, crossing her arms. "You always do this. You push people away when things get tough." "No, I push people away when they're toxic," I snap, reaching for my watch on the nightstand. "Big difference." Her eyes narrow and I can see the wheels turning in her head. She's calculating, planning her next move. When seduction fails, she always resorts to threats. Like clockwork. "Fine," she says, her voice taking on that familiar icy tone. "You want to play hardball? How about I tell Daddy Dearest about all those little indiscretions of yours? You think the board will be so forgiving when they find out their golden boy isn't so perfect?" I laugh, a short, sharp bark. "Joke's on you, Trix. I'm already under their microscope." Her face pales for a moment, but she recovers quickly. "He still has connections. More than you think." "Sorry, sweetheart," I say, stepping closer until I'm towering over her. "But there are some things your daddy can't fix." Trixa storms out, her heels clicking like gunshots on the hardwood floor. The door slams behind her, leaving a ringing silence in its wake. I let out a long sigh, running a hand through my hair. Another day, another drama. I grab my jacket and head downstairs. The elevator ride feels endless, the polished mirrors reflecting a man who looks like he slept in a blender. But there's no time for self-pity. Duty calls. Linda, my ever-efficient secretary, stands as soon as I enter my office suite. Her smile is a little too bright for this early in the morning. "Good morning, Mr. Stone." "Morning, Linda. You look like you've got something on your mind, I say, adjusting my tie. Well, she replies, eyes darting towards my office. Linda, I don't have time for cryptic. Spill it. She leans in, lowering her voice. Mr. Swan is waiting for you in your office. He's been here for about an hour. Great. Just what I need. I nod, muttering a thanks, and make my way to my office. Pushing open the door, I find Marcus Swan sitting in my chair, his bulk dwarfing the leather seat. Morning, Marcus, I say, closing the door behind me. To what do I owe the pleasure? Marcus doesn't waste time with pleasantries. He slaps a magazine on my desk with enough force to rattle my laptop screen. The cover features a picture of me, all smiles, with some blonde draped on my arm. The headline screams, Jacob Stone. Billionaire playboy scores again. Who the hell is she? Marcus growls, eyes boring into mine. I glance at the magazine, then back at him. Seriously? You came all this way to talk about a tabloid? Answer the question, Jacob. Her name's Tina? Trina? I don't remember, I say, leaning back in my chair. Why does it matter? Marcus's jaw tightens. You think this is a joke? The board's breathing down my neck because you can't keep it in your pants. I smirk. Oh, come on, Marcus. The board loves me. They love the press. It's good for business. Not this kind of press. He jabs a finger at the magazine. You've got a reputation, and not the good kind. This isn't just about you, Jacob. It's about the hospital, the patients, the donors. I roll my eyes. Spare me the lecture. You think I don't know how to handle my business? Clearly you don't, he snaps. And what about Trixa? How do you think she feels seeing you with a different woman every week? I laugh, shaking my head. Trixa and I are done, Marcus. She made her bed, quite literally with my cousin. She made a mistake, he says, voice softer now. But you make a lifestyle out of it. Call it what you want, I shrug. I'm not changing who I am because you or anyone else thinks I should. Marcus shakes his head, his face etched with disappointment. This isn't a sustainable way to live. The hospital can't have its CEO splashed across the front page of the New York Post. I lean back in my chair, folding my arms. And what do you suggest I do? Become a monk? Start a book club? He ignores my sarcasm. This isn't who you are, but you need to show that to the world, not just to your family or mine. Who I am, I snort. You barely know me, Marcus. I know enough, he says, his tone firm. I know you're smart, driven, and capable of running this hospital better than anyone else. But you need to act like it. Act like it? I echo, raising an eyebrow. What am I, 12? Like I haven't been playing the part of the dutiful CEO since I took over? Jacob, this is more than just a role, he says, leaning forward. It's about responsibility. You have a duty to this hospital, to the people who rely on it. Your actions have consequences. I roll my eyes. Save the lecture. I know my responsibilities. Do you? He challenges, his voice rising. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're more interested in chasing tail than running a hospital. I feel a flash of anger. Watch it, Marcus. You don't get to waltz in here and tell me how to live my life. I'm not trying to tell you how to live, he says, his voice softening. I'm trying to get you to see that you're better than this. You have the potential to be great, Jacob, but you're wasting it. I stare at him, his words hanging in the air like a challenge. There's a part of me that wants to punch him, but there's another part, a small, annoying part, that knows he's right. Look, he continues, I'm not saying you have to change overnight, but you need to start somewhere. Show the board, the donors, hell, show yourself that you're serious about this. I run a hand through my hair, feeling the weight of his words. And how exactly do you propose I do that? Marcus's tone shifts. You need to settle down, find a good partner, and build a life for yourself. I laugh, shaking my head. Settle down? You mean chain myself to another person? Call it what you want, he says, sighing. But if you keep going like this, you risk losing the company. You're tarnishing your family name and legacy. I cross my arms, feeling a prickle of annoyance. My family name is fine. The Stone name stands for success, innovation, and progress. A few tabloid stories won't change that. Marcus steps closer, his eyes narrowing. Jacob, it's more than just a few stories. It's about perception. Donors and board members don't want to be associated with scandal. Scandal? I scoff. Dating models and attending parties isn't scandalous. It's called living. Living or running away? He asks, his gaze piercing. You've got everything. Money, power, influence. But you're squandering it on meaningless flings with silly girls, when you should be playing house with someone like Trixa, for instance. I glare at him, my anger simmering. You mean your daughter that publicly cheated on me? Because she sure gives the interpretation of wholesome housewife. Watch it, young man. She may not be perfect, but she's still my daughter. Marcus huffs. I'm not going to let anyone dictate how I live my life. Damn it! Marcus shouts. No one's trying to control you. I just want you to see the bigger picture. The hospital needs stability. You need stability. Stability, I repeat, the word tasting bitter on my tongue. And you think settling down will magically fix everything? It's a start, he says. Find someone who sees you for who you are, not just for your money or your name. I sigh, rubbing my temples. You make it sound so easy. It's not, he admits. But it'll be worth it. Trust me. Trust you, I mutter, feeling the weight of his words. I'll think about it. It would be wise of you, Marcus says as he walks away. The sound of the door shutting feels too loud in the suddenly quiet office. Settle down. Get married. The board has lost their mind if they think that I'm just going to put a ring on Trixa's finger because of who her father is. I don't care about our history. But who else would want to put up with me? I may be a billionaire, but it's not like I can just go out and buy a bride. Right?
Chapter 3. Nyla. I can't seem to focus. My mind's a jumble, caught between patient charts and my grandpa's face. I nearly mix up Mr. Phelps' insulin dose with Mrs. Avery's. Lori catches it just in time. Nyla, are you trying to kill someone today? Lori whispers, eyebrows raised. Sorry, I start, but my voice falters. Lori softens, her tone gentle. Hey, it's okay. You're going through a lot. I nod, grateful but still frazzled. I just need to get through this shift. But then it happens again. I forget to cross-check the order for the blood transfusion. I'm seconds away from pressing the start button on the pump when something tells me to stop. I look at the unit of blood hanging on the pole and realize it's not A positive, like it's been ordered. I must have grabbed the wrong bag from the lab. Damn, I say, rubbing my face. Had I had pressed start, I would have single-handedly killed that man. I feel the tears welling up in my eyes. Lori steps in again, her hand on my arm. That's it. You're done, she says firmly. I slump, defeated. I can't leave. We're short-staffed. I'll handle it. Go take a break. I don't argue. Instead, I retreat to the nurse's room, my sanctuary. The moment the door closes behind me, the tears come. I bury my face in my hands, the weight of everything crashing down. The door creaks open, and Lori slips in. She sits beside me, wrapping an arm around my shoulders. I talked to the charge nurse, she says softly. You're going home early. I lift my head, eyes red and puffy. Really? Yeah, you need rest. This place will fall apart without you, but not today. Today, you need to take care of yourself. I exhale, a mix of relief and guilt. Thanks, Lori. I owe you one. Just promise me you'll get some sleep and maybe eat something that isn't from the vending machine, she quips, trying to lighten the mood. I manage a small smile. Deal. She helps me gather my things. her presence a comforting anchor. As we walk out, the hospital's sterile lights seem harsher, the beeping monitors more relentless. Lori gives me a quick hug. "Call me if you need anything, okay?" "Will do," I say, feeling a bit more steady. I head towards the bus stop, each step feeling like I'm walking through molasses. I sit down on the bench, and the crisp evening air hits my face. I breathe it in, hoping it'll clear my mind. The Q67 bus rattles along, each bump jarring my thoughts loose. The city blurs past the window, but all I see is Grandpa's face. I clutch my bag, fingers gripping the worn leather like it's a lifeline. People chatter around me, their conversations a distant hum. "Excuse me, miss," a woman's voice breaks through. I glance up to see an elderly lady, her eyes kind but worried. "Is this seat taken?" I shake my head. "No, go ahead." She sits, and I try to focus on the world outside. The bus screeches to a halt at my stop, and I shuffle off, feet heavy against the pavement. The walk to my apartment feels endless, the air thick with the weight of the day's events. When I reach my door, a new eviction notice flaps in the breeze, mocking me, like a tiny white flag, signaling for me to just surrender. I rip it down, crumpling it in my fist. I got the memo the first time one was taped to the door. I shut the door behind me and look at the place I've called home since I graduated college. Usually it brings me a sense of refuge after a chaotic day, but now the silence is just deafening. "Damn it," I mutter as I drop my bag on the counter. I reach for my laptop and open it, heart pounding as I log into my bank account. $12.52. The number glares at me, a cruel reminder of my reality. My breath catches, panic rising in my chest. Grandpa's medical bill is due any day now, and I'm drowning in a sea of debt. "Okay, Nyla, think," I mutter, pacing the small living room. There has to be a way. My phone buzzes, and I snatch it up, hoping for a miracle. It's a text from Zara. "Zara. Girl, you okay? Heard about her grandpa. Need anything?" I type back quickly, fingers trembling. "Me. Just trying to figure things out. Thanks for checking in." Her response is immediate. "Zara, let me know if you need a shift covered. I got you." I appreciate the offer, but it's not enough. I need a solution, not a Band-Aid. The walls close in, and I feel like I'm suffocating. The phone rings. An unwelcome intrusion into my swirling thoughts. I see Mom flashing on the screen and hesitate before answering. "Hey, Mom," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. "Nyla, how are you holding up?" Her tone is a mix of concern and something else I can't quite place. "I'm doing everything I can to help with Grandpa's payments, but the next installment will be late," I say, diving right into the heart of it. "Can you cover it?" There's a long pause on the other end. I can almost hear her weighing her words. "Nyla, we can't," she finally says, her voice tinged with regret. "We already asked our landlord for an extension on our rent after helping last month with the treatment. We're tapped out." I close my eyes, the weight of her words sinking in. "I understand," I say, though my chest feels like it's caving in. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart," she continues. "If there was any way—" "I know, Mom. I know you're doing your best," I interrupt, not wanting to hear more apologies. "I'll figure something out." "Are you sure you're okay?" she asks, the worry in her voice making it hard to stay composed. "I'll manage," I say, forcing a smile she can't see. "I always do. Just remember, we're here if you need to talk," she offers, though it feels like a hollow gesture. "Thanks, Mom. I'll be in touch," I say, ending the call before my emotions get the best of me. I take a deep breath, dialing my supervisor at the diner. The phone rings twice before a familiar, gruff voice answers. Frank's Diner. This is Lisa. Hey, Lisa, it's Nyla. Do you have any shifts available tonight? Yeah, but it's last minute. You'd need to come in right away, she says, not missing a beat. I glance at the clock. I can be there in 20. Good. We're slammed tonight. So you'll be on your feet the whole time? Can you handle it? I let out a dry laugh. When have I ever not handled it? Fair point, she chuckles. See you soon. With a resigned sigh, I strip off my scrubs and toss them into the laundry basket. The apartment feels colder without them, the chill biting at my skin. I pull on my worn jeans and a black tee, the uniform of my second life. A quick glance in the mirror shows a woman trying to hold it all together. I run a brush through my hair, fluff it a bit, and give myself a nod. Showtime, I mutter to my reflection, grabbing my bag and heading out.
You think you can catch me? You think you can tame me?
Oh, I know I can. And you know it too, baby.
I gotta tell you, you're not the first to try.
But don't worry, baby. I'll be the last.
With sass like that, maybe I'll be the one that needs to tame you.
Let's cut to the chase, big boy. What you selling me?
Your appetite is big AF. I have just the thing that'll satisfy you.
Oh, really? And what's that?
Over 120 hours of romance audiobooks. Brought to you by Tyla Walker Romances in the Big AF audio bundle.
120 hours? That sounds amazing.
Your knees won't work afterwards if I do my job right.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, I can keep this promise. Because these audiobooks are unabridged with all the spicy scenes that will make you put your earbuds on. You know, Tyla can get freaky because she marked the bundle down by 69% for a limited time.
I can't wait to take this bundle for a ride.
Visit TylaWalker.com and get this audio bundle. Just don't start listening if you're going to be cooking dinner. Because you might just forget to feed your family.
TylaWalker.com. Escape your life with Tyla.
Chapter 4. Jacob. Jacob, your latest escapade with that actress. What was her name? Someone drones on, his voice oozing disdain. Why? I lean back in my chair, propping my feet on the desk. You want her number? A chorus of disapproving grunts follows. Jacob, the head of the board, Mr. Harper, begins, his tone patronizing. Your behavior is becoming a liability. Important clients are reconsidering their contracts. Because of a few dates? I can't help the laugh that escapes. That's ridiculous. Not just dates, Jacob, Harper continues. It's the image you project. The hospital's reputation is at stake. I run a damn good hospital, I snap. My personal life has nothing to do with my ability to manage it. Maybe so, pipes in another board member, Mr. Lawson. But optics matter. If the public sees our CEO as a playboy, they might question the integrity of the institution. I've saved this hospital from bankruptcy, expanded our facilities, brought in top-notch doctors. True, but no buts, I interrupt, slamming my feet down. I'm not going to be some puppet for your public relations game. Jacob, you seem to forget, Harper says, leaning forward. Your life is our business. We're financially tied to this hospital as shareholders. So, I shoot back, crossing my arms. That gives you the right to dictate my personal life. It gives us the right to expect that our investment is being managed properly, Lawson interjects, which includes the behavior of the CEO, who is, technically, an employee of the board. An employee? I repeat, feeling my blood pressure spike. I'm the reason this place isn't a parking lot right now. True, Harper concedes, but you're still accountable to us. And your behavior is none of your damn business, I cut in. You want results? Look at the numbers. We're in the black. Expansion plans are ahead of schedule. Patient satisfaction is through the roof. All well and good, Lawson says, but public perception matters. If donors see you as a liability, donors care about results, not my dating life, I argue. That's where you're wrong, Harper says, shaking his head. Perception is reality in this business. If the public and our donors see a CEO who is reckless and irresponsible, it reflects on the entire institution. Reckless and irresponsible? I bark out a laugh. You want reckless? How about the time you guys almost sold off the pediatric wing because it wasn't profitable enough? I fought to keep it, and now it's one of our most successful departments. Jacob, Mr. Lawson starts again, trying to sound reasonable. Why don't you find a nice girl like Trixa? She has the right connections, the right image. I roll my eyes so hard it's a wonder they don't get stuck. You mean Trixa, my ex-girlfriend that every tabloid within a 50-mile radius wrote a story hour about our relationship being toxic? People can change, Harper admits. Not her, I retort. She's about as constant as the North Star, always scheming, always self-serving. Now, Marcus interjects, attempting to diffuse the tension. Let's not point fingers unless our hands are clean. Jacob is right, however. There is already bad press associated with the both of them. I don't think it's in good faith to proposition my daughter like a business deal. Thank you, I say, shooting him a grateful look. But, Marcus continues, turning to me, we do need you to take this seriously. The hospital's reputation is on the line. And you think a good girl will fix that? I ask, incredulous. What am I supposed to do? Parade around some Stepford wife for your approval? We're not asking for a facade, Lawson pipes up. Just a little more stability in your personal life. Jacob, no one's saying any specifics, Harper interjects, trying to sound conciliatory. Just someone who can present a more respectable image. Respectable image? I repeat, shaking my head. You guys really think that's the answer to all our problems? It would help, Lawson says, clearly not getting it. Or, I say, leaning forward, you could trust that I know what I'm doing, that I can handle my personal life without it affecting the hospital. Harper and Lawson exchange glances, clearly not convinced. Look, Marcus says, addressing the room. Jacob's done more for this hospital than anyone else. Maybe we should back off and let him consider our suggestions. There's a murmur of reluctant agreement, but I can tell this isn't over. Not by a long shot. Thanks, Marcus, I say, meeting his eyes. But I think they've made their point. Just remember, Harper says, we're all on the same team here. I decide I need a break. These board meetings are like being pecked to death by ducks. I push my chair back and stride out of the room, my shoes echoing on the polished floor. I take the elevator down and I head down the hallway, eager to escape the stifling air of corporate nonsense. Then I see her. Time seems to freeze. She's stunning, like a vision out of a dream, standing by the nurse's station, scribbling something in a chart. Her dark hair is pulled back, revealing a face that could launch 1,000 ships. For a moment, I forget how to breathe. As I stride down the hallway, trying to shake off the lingering irritation from the board meeting, I spot her. She's standing by the nurse's station, scribbling something in a chart. Time seems to freeze. It's like I've walked into a slow-motion scene from a movie. Her dark hair is pulled back, revealing a face that could launch 1,000 ships. My breath catches. I just stand there, watching her. Enamored isn't a strong enough word. She's like a magnet, pulling my attention away from everything else. She's surrounded by a gaggle of nurses, each one clamoring for her attention. They look at her like she's the second coming of Florence Nightingale, and she handles it all with a grace that's almost infuriating. I lean against the wall, arms crossed, watching her. Can you help me with this dosage calculation? One nurse asks, holding out a chart. Sure thing, Jenna, she replies, her voice calm and reassuring. Just remember to double-check the patient's weight first. Another nurse jumps in. I've got a patient with a weird rash. Any ideas? Could be an allergic reaction, she says thoughtfully, tapping her pen against her chin. Check his medical history for any new medications. They all nod, hanging on her every word. This woman's not just a pretty face. She's got the brains to back it up. And that's intriguing. Very intriguing. The nurses buzz around her, but she's the eye of the storm, calm, composed, in control. Need something, Stone? Marcus's voice cuts through my thoughts, startling me. Just taking in the view, I say, my eyes never leaving her. Sure you are, he replies, a smirk in his voice as he carries on down the hallway. I should be concerned about returning to that stupid board meeting, but I'm rooted to the spot staring at her. The nurse is captivating, and for a moment, everything else fades into the background.
Chapter 5. Nyla. The week's been a blur of white coats and diner uniforms. Today's no different, and my body screams for a break. Lunch break means grabbing my cold sandwich and retreating to Grandpa's room. He's still in his coma, but it feels right to be near him. I settle into the uncomfortable plastic chair by his bed. The room smells faintly of antiseptic and sadness. The beeping of the machines a constant reminder of our situation. Hey, Grandpa, I whisper, unwrapping my sandwich. You'd laugh if you saw me now. I'm running on fumes and bad coffee. I could really go for one of your homemade Philly cheesesteaks right now. I barely take a bite of my sandwich when Dr. Patel walks in. The man always looks like he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Today's no different. His eyes meet mine, and I can tell this conversation isn't going to be easy. Nyla, he says, how have you been? There have always been good doctors. Then there are excellent doctors, and the thing that separates them is their bedside manner. Dr. Patel is a phenomenal doctor. He cares just as much about his patients' families as he does his patients. I couldn't ask for a better doctor for Grandpa. I've been better, but I'm making it, I say with the melancholiest voice I've ever heard. We need to have a chat about Cornelius's treatment. His voice low and serious. I nod, putting my sandwich down. Okay, what's the latest? Dr. Patel pulls up a chair, sitting across from me. His condition is deteriorating faster than we anticipated. We have 3 options. We can try to revive him, administer the experimental drug I mentioned before, or withdraw life support. I feel my stomach knot. I don't even want to acknowledge the last option. What are the chances with the experimental drug? He sighs, rubbing his temples. The drug is still in clinical trials. There's a 20% chance it might work, but there are significant risks. It could worsen his condition. I swallow hard. And if we try to revive him? Reviving him could bring him back, but given his current state, he might not regain consciousness or could suffer severe brain damage. I glance at Grandpa, his face peaceful, as if he's just sleeping. And withdrawing life support? Dr. Patel's silence speaks volumes. I can't lose him, Dr. Patel, not like this. My voice cracks despite my best efforts to stay strong. He leans forward, compassion in his eyes. I know this is difficult, but we need to make a decision soon. The more time that passes, the less likely an optimal outcome. I take a deep breath, trying to steady my thoughts. What would you do if it was your family? He pauses, considering. If I could have with my father, I would have tried the experimental drug. It's a long shot, but at least it's a chance. I nod slowly, the weight of the decision pressing down on me. Thank you, Dr. Patel. I will make a decision for you by tomorrow, if that's all right. Of course, he responds solemnly. I'm so sorry, Nyla. A small smile and a tearful nod is all I'm able to give him as he walks out of the room. I stare at Grandpa, my vision blurring with tears I refuse to let fall. His face lies still, his chest rising and falling in time with the machines. Desperation claws at my insides. I lean closer, clutching his hand. It's warm but unresponsive, a cruel mockery of the man I know. Grandpa, if you can hear me, my voice is barely above a whisper. I need you to wake up. Tell me what to do. Give me some sort of sign. Anything. I don't know what to do. I bite my lip, my mind racing. I want to keep you alive. I really do. But this experimental drug, it's expensive. I don't have that kind of money. Mom doesn't either. And the risks, my voice trails off. I can't bring myself to say it out loud. I squeeze his hand, willing him to respond. Remember when I was little and I got lost at the county fair? You found me sitting by the cotton candy stand, crying my eyes out. You scooped me up and told me there's nothing in this world we can't face together. Well, I need that now. I need to know we can face this. The room feels too quiet. The beeping of the machines, a harsh reminder of the silence from Grandpa. Please, Grandpa, give me a sign. Anything. I can't do this alone. I close my eyes, leaning my forehead against his hand. Memories flood back, his booming laugh, his warm hugs, the way he'd sneak me extra dessert when Mom wasn't looking. My forehead is still pressed against Grandpa's hand when I hear the door creak open. I don't look up immediately, assuming it's just another nurse, or maybe Dr. Patel back with more bad news. I slowly lift my head and find myself staring at the last person I expected to see, Jacob Stone, CEO of Stone Hospital Group. He stands in the doorway, looking like he walked straight out of a GQ magazine shoot. For a second, I wonder if I'm hallucinating. Is this man an angel? If this is the sign that Grandpa has sent me, I'll have to thank him after this Adonis of a man leaves the room. I blink, half expecting him to vanish like a mirage. But no, he's very real, standing there with an expression that hovers somewhere between concern and curiosity.
Chapter 6. Jacob. Can I help you? She asks sheepishly. I look around the room. Yeah, I think maybe you can. Her look of surprise is quickly masked by something further resembling impatience, or maybe like she's considering grabbing the nearest object and hurling it at me. Conversation with a stranger is probably the last thing this woman wants to do right now. I should carry on and mind my business and let her process whatever Dr. Patel just told her, because from the looks of her reaction it isn't good. But I can't will myself to leave. Some kind of invisible tether is pulling me towards her, one that I'm not willing to abandon without investigating. I stride into the room, my eyes instantly locking onto her. Nyla, according to the name tag. But the truth is, I haven't forgotten her since I saw her the other day after the board meeting. She hit me like a bullet to the heart. It wasn't hard finding out who she was, her schedule, and that her grandfather was a patient here, and that she spent most of her break time there. I feel badly for her. Her grandfather has rare neurological disease and was put into a medically induced coma. But the reptilian part of my brain is still analyzing every curve of this beautiful nurse, every fiber of her glorious hair, every single detail running through my brain over and over again. Her face is a mess of emotions, a mix of worry and exhaustion. I approach, trying to balance my usual confidence with a touch of empathy. Not my strong suit, but for her, I'll give it a shot. Hi, I'm Jacob Stone, I say, extending a hand. I believe you're Nyla? She looks up, eyes widening for a second before narrowing slightly. I know who you are, she says, not bothering to shake my hand. CEO of Stone Hospital Group. You're kind of hard to miss. I chuckle, retracting my hand and leaning casually against the doorframe. Fair enough, but I promise you, if I'd seen you before, I haven't forgotten. Nyla's eyes flash with a mix of flattery and suspicion. Is that your go-to line? Only when it's true. I let my gaze linger, making sure she knows I mean it. Smooth stone. Real smooth. I think to myself, I have no issues wooing any woman I encounter anywhere else, but right now I am about as smooth as a cactus. She sighs, her shoulders slumping as she turns back to the bed. Can I help you with anything, Mr. Stone? Jacob, I correct, and I wanted to check in. You seemed distressed when I walked by. She laughs, but it's a bitter sound. That's an understatement. I move closer, keeping my voice low. Is it your grandfather? She nods, her fingers trembling as she brushes a lock of hair behind her ear. Yes. His name is Cornelius Rex. He's been here for a year. And now it's all coming to a head. The doctors say we need to make a decision soon, but I can't afford the treatment he needs. I cross my arms, leaning in a bit. What's the treatment? Some experimental drug, she replies, eyes glistening. But it's insanely expensive, and there's no guarantee it'll work. Neuromax, I say, leaning in just enough to make my presence felt. That's the drug Dr. Patel mentioned, right? Her eyes snap to mine, searching for any hint of a joke. Yeah, that's the one, but it's a pipe dream. The cost alone. We've invested heavily in Neuromax, I cut in, my tone leaving no room for doubt. This hospital believes in its potential, and I do too. She frowns, crossing her arms defensively. Why would you care? You don't even know us. I take a step closer, lowering my voice. Because I run this place, and I care about every patient under this roof. Your grandfather isn't just a number. He's a man with a life and a family who loves him. The tension in the room feels thick enough to cut with a knife. Nyla's eyes are stormy, and she's biting her lip in a way that's equal parts adorable and heartbreaking. The cost is far too much, she says, her voice wavering but strong. I barely stay afloat now with the cost of his stay. Adding an experimental drug? I can't even think about it. I watch her, feeling an unfamiliar pull. It's not just her beauty. It's her resolve, her determination. The ringing of my phone jerks me out of my reverie. I look at the screen, seeing Marcus' name flash across the screen. Come to my office when you have a chance. I'm beyond over being continually chastised like a child. Marcus has already made his point crystal clear. It's not like I'm going to find a solution to their problem within the last hour I've spoken to him. The thought slams into me like a freight train. Could the solution to this problem be sitting right in front of me, dew-eyed and vulnerable? No way it can be this easy. Also, there's no way this woman is going to entertain the ludicrous damn that's about to come out of my mouth. Unless there's something in it for her. Something like an experimental treatment for her grandfather that without my resources she couldn't afford. I decide right then and there it's worth a shot. Let me help you. Her head snaps up, eyes wide with disbelief. What? I said, let me help you, I repeat, crossing my arms to make it clear I'm not backing down. I'll cover the cost of the treatment. She blinks as if trying to process my words. You can't be serious. Why would you do that? I lean in closer, dropping my voice to a whisper. Because I can, and because I want to. You're working yourself to the bone, and it's not right. Let me do this. Nyla shakes her head, clearly struggling with the offer. I don't know. It feels like charity. Charity? I laugh, a deep, genuine sound that surprises even me. This isn't charity, Nyla. Think of it as an investment in a life that matters. I watch Nyla's face, searching for any sign that she's considering my words. The turmoil in her eyes is palpable, and I know I have to act fast. Look, I say, stepping closer. Just let me help you with the cost of the treatment. Her eyes narrow. And why would you do that? Out of the goodness of your heart? I smirk, shaking my head. Not quite. I need something from you too. She raises an eyebrow, skepticism dripping from her gaze. Oh, really? And what could I possibly offer someone like you? I take a deep breath, knowing this is going to sound insane. We can help each other, I insist, leaning in. But it requires you to marry me, even if it's just a fake marriage to help me clean up my image. Nyla busts out laughing, startling herself. She looks to her grandfather as if she may have startled him, which obviously isn't the case. I stand there, poised and professional due to years of practice. Nyla's jaw drops, and she continues to stare at me like I've lost my mind. Wait, you're serious, aren't you? Marry you? Are you out of your mind? Not at all, I reply, my tone steady. The board's been on my case about my reputation. They want me to settle down, find a good girl. Someone like you. She laughs, a short, disbelieving sound. You think I'm a good girl? Compared to the women I usually date? Absolutely. I shrug. It's a win-win. You get the money for your grandfather's treatment, and I get the board off my back. Nyla's eyes flicker with something. Maybe hope. Maybe doubt. This is insane. You really can't be serious. Dead serious, I say, my voice firm. You'd get the best care for your grandfather. No more worrying about bills. And in return, you play the role of my devoted wife. Public appearances, a few dinners, maybe an interview or two. She shakes her head, still processing. And what happens when it's over? When you've got your good press and I've got my grandpa's treatment? We part ways, I say simply. No strings attached. You get your life back and I get mine. Clean break. Nyla's eyes blaze with fury. No! Get the hell out! Her voice echoes in the small room, sharp and unyielding. I hold up my hands, trying to keep the situation from spiraling out of control. Nyla, listen to me. The procedure is expensive. I'm offering you a way to cover it. She steps closer, jabbing a finger at my chest. And what, in return, I become your trophy wife? Paraded around like some accessory? I shake my head, keeping my voice calm. It's not like that. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement. She scoffs, crossing her arms. You think money solves everything, don't you? That you can just buy people's lives, their dignity? Damn it, Nyla, I snap, feeling my patience fray. I'm not trying to buy your dignity. I'm trying to save your grandfather's life. Do you really think I'd offer this if there was another way? She glares at me, eyes wet but defiant. There's always another way. I'll find it. I don't need your charity or your twisted proposal. I take a step back, running a hand through my hair. It's not charity. It's a business deal. One that can help both of us. You're unbelievable. You walk in here, throw money around, and expect me to jump at the chance to be your fake wife? No. Just no. I exhale, trying to stay focused. Nyla, you're being stubborn. This is a chance to save him, to give him the treatment he needs. And I'm supposed to just trust you? A man who's known for his scandals and affairs? She shakes her head. No way, I don't trust you, Jacob. And I won't sell my soul for your convenience. Trust? I ask, feeling a spark of anger. What have I done to make you distrust me? Nothing personal, just your entire reputation, she shoots back. I don't need to know you personally to know your trouble. I take a deep breath, trying to control my frustration. This isn't about me. It's about your grandfather. He needs this treatment, and you know it. She takes a step back, her expression softening just a fraction. I know he needs it, but not like this. Not at the cost of my self-respect. Nyla, I say, my voice low and urgent. She shakes her head, tears spilling over. I can't. I just can't. Please, just leave. I stand there, feeling the weight of her words. All right, I say finally. But think about it. I'm here to help, whether you believe it or not. As I turn to leave, I can't shake the feeling that this isn't over. Nyla's fierce determination and my need for a solution are bound to collide again. But for now, I give her the space she's demanded, leaving the room with a mix of frustration and respect.
Chapter 7. I can't believe the nerve of that man. Some rich, arrogant white guy waltzes in here and thinks he can buy me like I'm some kind of commodity. This kind of thing only happens in movies, or maybe the 1800s. I pace the small room. my mind a whirlpool of indignation and bewilderment. "You've got to be kidding me," I muttered to myself, rubbing my temples. "A fake marriage? Really?" I stare at my grandfather's motionless form, my frustration bubbling over. The worst part of all this? He's infuriatingly attractive, like ridiculously so. It's not fair. It's like the universe decided to package arrogance and good looks into one unbearable human being. I sigh, sinking into the chair beside the bed. "You always said I had a flair for the dramatic," I whisper to Grandpa as if I'm expecting a response that isn't going to come. Maybe that's why this is all so overwhelming. The stakes are too high. And then Jacob swoops in with his offer, like some kind of twisted knight in shining armor. But what kind of person proposes marriage as a solution to a problem? I lean back, closing my eyes for a moment. He did say he could help with Grandpa's treatment. Obviously, I can't afford it, Dot. The bills are piling up, and I'm barely scraping by as it is. Opening my eyes, I gaze at my grandfather, willing him to give me a sign. "What do I do, Grandpa?" A soft knock on the door startles me, and I glance at the clock as his on-duty nurse walks in. My heart sinks. My lunch break is over. Great. Now he's wasted my break too, I mutter, standing up. With one last glance at the man who raised me, I straighten my scrubs and head out the door, my mind still reeling from Jacob's outrageous proposal. The hospital corridors seem to close in on me, and I make my way back to my station, trying to push thoughts of Jacob Stone and his maddeningly attractive face out of my head. But it's easier said than done. I head to the nurse's station, my mind still buzzing from Jacob's insane proposal. Lori is there, typing away at the computer. I tap her shoulder. "Hey, Lori, can I ask you something?" She looks up, concern etched on her face. "Sure, what's up?" "What do you know about Jacob Stone?" Her eyes widen, and she leans back in her chair. "Why, did he do something?" Before I can answer, Zara, who's been eavesdropping, swoops in. "Oh my God, Jacob Stone? That man is pure sex on legs," she gushes, her eyes practically twinkling. "If I had just one night with him, I'd die happy." Lori snorts, rolling her eyes. "You and every other woman in this hospital, Zara." She leans back in her chair, eyes dreamy. "Imagine being married to Jacob Stone. You'd never have to worry about anything. Private jets, fancy dinners, and a closet full of designer clothes." Zara chimes in, practically bouncing. "And don't forget the media attention. You'd be on the cover of every magazine." Zara Banks, from nurse to billionaire's wife. I laugh it off, trying to dismiss the idea, but it sticks like glue. I'm just trying to figure out what all the hype is about. From where I'm standing, he just seems like a playboy with too much time and money on his hands. Lori raises an eyebrow. "But think about it. What if you were the one to wrangle the wild stallion? All your problems would be solved. Your grandpa could get the treatment he needs. No more double shifts, no more scraping by." I bite my lip, the practicality of her words hitting me harder than I want to admit. Zara smirks. "Stepford Wives of Stone Hospital." "I think you two had a little too much coffee this morning," I say with a smile. "Someone like Jacob Stone would have no interest in mere nurses like us. He's probably seeking some corporate Barbie." Zara chimes in. "But unlike Barbie, my parts aren't plastic," she says as she shakes her chest. "Oh my God, you're unhinged," I say with a smile as I brush her off. "I'm headed out. Have fun saving the world without me." "Always," Lori responds with a wink. My thoughts are a tangled mess as I leave the hospital, the weight of the day pressing down on me. Jacob Stone's outrageous proposal keeps looping in my head like a broken record. The nerve of him. I shake my head, trying to clear my mind. I have more immediate concerns. I make my way to the bus stop, only to find a sign that reads, "Service suspended." Perfect. Just perfect. I check the schedule on my phone and realize I'll need to take 2 other buses to get to the diner. This means I'll be late to my part-time job by at least 2 hours. Could this day get any worse? I mutter, hurrying to the next bus stop. By the time I finally arrive at the diner, I'm sweaty, exhausted, and 2 hours late. I push through the door, hoping against hope that my boss, Lisa, will understand. "Lisa, I'm so sorry I'm late," I say, breathless. "The bus. There was a service suspension, and I had to take 2 different buses to get here." Lisa's face hardens, her usual stern expression even more unforgiving. "Nyla, this is the 3rd time this month. I can't keep making excuses for you." I feel a lump forming in my throat. "I know, but I really need this job. You know about my grandpa. I'm trying my best, I swear." She shakes his head, folding her arms across his chest. "I'm sorry, but I have to let you go." My heart sinks. "You're firing me? Just like that?" She sighs, rubbing the back of her neck. "I don't have a choice. You're unreliable, and it's affecting the team. We need someone who can be here on time, every time." I feel a surge of anger and desperation. "Unreliable? I work 2 jobs and take care of my grandfather. I'm doing everything I can." Lisa's face softens for a moment, but she quickly regains her composure. "But I have a business to run. You can collect your final paycheck on Friday." I stand there, stunned. What am I supposed to do now? She looks away, unable to meet my eyes. "I wish I had an answer for you, but this is out of my hands." I turn on my heel, storming out of the diner, the door slamming shut behind me. The weight of the world seems to press down on me even harder. The cold air hits me like a slap in the face. I clutch my coat tighter around me, feeling the sting of tears threatening to spill over. Fired. Just like that. I lean against the wall, taking deep breaths to steady myself. This day couldn't possibly get any worse. I find myself toying with the thought of saying damn it and agreeing to Jacob's bizarre proposal. I pull out my phone and scroll through my contacts, my thumb hovering over his number that I saved from a business card. The thought of calling him feels like admitting defeat, but the nagging question won't leave my mind. How bad could it really be?
Did you see this? Jacob Stone, billionaire playboy, scores again.
Your grandfather's condition is declining rapidly. You need to make a decision. Will you do the experimental treatment?
How am I going to pay for it?
No money, no treatment.
It's time to settle down. Show the board that you can offer stability. Show them who you really are.
Hi, I'm Jacob Stone.
I know who you are. CEO of Stone Hospital Group.
I need you to fake marry me. I'll pay for your grandfather's treatment.
Fine, I'll do it. I'll marry you.
Please spare me the romantic nonsense. We both know why you're really here. Gold digger.
It was fake at first, but then I fell in love with you. But to save you now, am I going to have to break your heart?
You're going to have a lot more problems than just your grandfather's health.
I thought I loved Jacob Stone, but before I marry him, I'm gonna have to destroy him.
Chapter 8. Jacob. The dining room in my parents' house looks like it was ripped straight from a magazine spread. Elegant chandelier, polished mahogany table, and perfectly arranged floral centerpieces. Too bad the atmosphere doesn't match. Jacob, do you even read the tabloids? My mother Hilda sighs, pushing a plate of roasted lamb towards me. You're on the front page again. Do you know how embarrassing that is? I roll my eyes, taking a piece of the lamb. Relax, Mom. It's just a picture. My father, William, chimes in, his voice stern. It's not just a picture, son. It's your reputation. Our reputation. How many times do we have to go over this? Honestly, you make it sound like I'm robbing banks or something. I lean back in my chair, folding my arms. It's just dating. Last I checked, that's not illegal. Mom narrows her eyes. Dating? You mean parading around with a different woman every week? It's disgraceful. Disgraceful? That's a bit dramatic, don't you think? I toss my fork down, the metal clattering against the fine china. Seriously, how does a photograph of me at a nightclub with a woman constitute a scandal? It's 2024, not the Victorian era. Dad leans forward, his expression unyielding. A hospital is a place for healing, Jacob. The community needs to trust the person at the helm. I scoff, shaking my head. And what, my nightlife somehow negates my ability to run a hospital? Reliability equates to stability, he says, his tone measured. And stability often means marriage. People want to feel like they're in good hands. Good hands, I repeat, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. So, a wedding ring magically makes me more trustworthy? Yes, he snaps. It shows commitment, responsibility. If you can't provide that, you're doing a disservice to the hospital. I give him my best apathetic look as I continue to stuff mashed potatoes in my mouth. Dad shakes his head, frustration etched on his face. This isn't just about you, Jacob. It's about the hospital, the board, the donors. They're worried. Of course they are, I mutter, half to myself. Everyone's always worried about something. Mom places her hand on Dad's arm, trying to calm him down. What your father means is that you need to find a nice girl. Settle down. It's not too much to ask. I laugh, a short, bitter sound. So now I need a wife to make everyone happy? How convenient. Jacob, we're not saying it to control you, Mom says, her tone softening. We just want what's best for you. For all of us. And the best thing for me is to be wed in holy matrimony? I shake my head. That's ridiculous. Dad's face turns a shade darker. Ridiculous or not, it's necessary. The board is losing patience. They want to see you take responsibility. I take a deep breath, trying to keep my temper in check. Fine, I'll get a dog. Dad leans forward, eyes boring into mine. Jacob, this isn't a game. You need to think about the future. Your future. Our future. I am thinking about the future, I snap. I'm just not willing to sacrifice my freedom for it. Mom looks at me, her expression a mix of disappointment and concern. We're not asking you to sacrifice anything, Jacob. We're asking you to grow up. I push my chair back, the legs scraping against the polished floor. I need some air, I mutter, standing up. My family's eyes follow me as I head toward the patio doors. I step outside, the cool night air a welcome relief from the heated discussion inside. I lean against the railing, staring out into the darkness. The city lights twinkle in the distance, but they do little to lighten my mood. A few moments later, I hear the soft click of heels behind me. Hey, you okay? Julia, my sister's voice is gentle, concerned. I sigh, not turning around. Just needed a break from the lecture. She moves beside me, resting her arms on the railing. They mean well, you know. Yeah, well, their well-meaning is suffocating, I grumble. I'm tired of being told what to do with my life. Julia is silent for a moment, then she asks, Is it really just that? Or is there something else going on? I glance at her, considering whether to confide in her. Julia's always been the sensible one. Maybe she can offer some clarity. It's Trixa, I admit. She's been trying to worm her way back into my life. Julia raises an eyebrow. Trixa? As in, the Thanksgiving bathroom incident Trixa? The very same, I say dryly. She showed up at my place the other day. Changed the locks and everything, and she still managed to get in. Julia's eyes widen. She's relentless. What did she want? To get back together, apparently, I reply, running a hand through my hair. And when that didn't work, she tried to use her dad's position on the board to manipulate me. Julia snorts. Classic Trixa. What did you say? I shrug. Told her there are some things her daddy can't fix. Then I kicked her out. Good for you, Julia says, a hint of pride in her voice. You deserve better than her. Thanks, I mumble, feeling a bit lighter. But it's still a mess. The board, the donors, they're all on my back. They want me to settle down, find a nice girl. Julia laughs softly. A nice girl, huh? That's rich. Tell me about it, I mutter. But it's not just that. They're threatening my position, Julia. I could lose everything. Julia turns to face me, her expression serious. Jacob, you're smart. You'll figure this out. And hey, maybe this whole nice girl thing isn't such a bad idea. I roll my eyes. Not you, too. I'm just saying, she says, holding up her hands in mock surrender. Maybe you should consider it, but on your terms, not theirs. I let out a long breath, the weight of her words sinking in. Yeah, maybe. Julia gives my arm a reassuring squeeze. Come on, let's get back inside before they send out a search party. I nod, feeling a bit more grounded. All right, let's go. As we walk back inside, I can't help but feel grateful for Julia. She's always been my rock, and tonight, I needed her more than ever. Back at the table, the berating resumes almost immediately. Dad's voice cuts through the dining room like a knife. Jacob, you need to understand the gravity of this situation. I grit my teeth, feeling the pressure build. I get it, Dad, but you don't need to keep hammering it in. Mom chimes in, her tone softer but no less insistent. He's not hammering it in, Jacob. He's merely... There's no reason to keep hammering it in because I have a girlfriend, I shout, running a hand through my hair. The room goes silent. My family stares at me, wide-eyed. For a moment I almost regret the lie, but then their expressions shift from shock to curiosity. Oh, really? Mom asks, excitement bubbling in her voice. Who is she? And I hope you don't use that foul language in front of her. We raised you better than that. Dad leans forward, eyes narrowing. How come you've never mentioned her before? I swallow hard, trying to keep my cool. It's new. We've been keeping it private. Mom's face lights up. This is wonderful news. Tell us more. Julia, standing beside me, gives me a knowing look but keeps quiet. I shoot her a grateful glance before turning back to my parents. You'll meet her soon enough, I say. Mom claps her hands together. How lovely. Dad nods, a hint of approval in his eyes. This is good, Jacob. Very good. Julia nudges me playfully. Looks like you're off the hook for now. I chuckle, feeling a mix of relief and dread. Yeah, for now. As the conversation shifts to lighter topics, I can't help but wonder how I'm going to pull this off. How am I going to convince Nyla to go along with this charade? Chapter 9. Jacob. The next morning I wake up with a pounding headache, remnants of last night's family dinner still swirling in my mind. I groan, rolling over and staring at the ceiling. What the hell did I get myself into? After dragging myself out of bed and downing a cup of coffee, I head to the hospital. My office is a sanctuary of order amidst the chaos of my life, but today, it feels like a cage. I need to find Nyla, and I need to convince her to play along with my harebrained scheme. I sift through the pile of dossiers on my desk, each file promising more trouble than it's worth. The first one, Sandra, looks promising until I hit the page on her drinking and gambling problem. I mutter to myself, great, a potential Mrs. Stone who might gamble away my fortune. Next. I hear a knock on the door just as I'm about to toss another hopeless dossier into the discard pile. "Come in," I say, already knowing who it is. Linda pokes her head through the door, her expression a mix of curiosity and concern. "You okay in here? You've been holed up for hours." "Just looking for my Stone Hospital mail-order bride," I joke, leaning back in my chair and giving her a wry smile. She laughs, stepping fully into the room. "Oh, is that what you're calling it now? Need some help with the selection process?" I raise an eyebrow, motioning for her to join me. "Be my guest. I could use a second opinion." She walks over and peers over my shoulder, her eyes scanning the dossiers scattered across my desk. "Sandra Williams, huh?" she reads, picking up the file. "Says here she's a Sunday school teacher. Nope, you'd catch fire the minute you were around her." I chuckle, shaking my head. "Yeah, I think I'll pass on salvation next." Linda flips through another file. "Cynthia Harris. She's got a degree in astrophysics. Impressive." I snort. "Great, so she can explain to me how the stars aligned for my disastrous love life. Or how they might realign if you stop dating women you meet in nightclubs," she quips, giving me a sidelong glance. "Toche." I lean forward, resting my elbows on the desk. "What else you got?" She picks up another dossier. "Julia Thompson, philanthropist, runs a couple of nonprofits. But look at this. She's got 3 kids from 2 different marriages." "Pass. I'm not ready to play dad to a pre-assembled family," I say, making a face. Linda sets the file down and looks at me, her expression softening. "Good luck with your bride hunt, Mr. Stone." "Thanks, Linda," I say, feeling a little lighter. "I'll need it." As she closes the door behind her, I lean back in my chair, pondering her words. Maybe she's right. Maybe the perfect match isn't in these files. Maybe she's somewhere I least expect. The next file I look at isn't much better. Marcy, a felon on the run. No one at the hospital knows, but it's all here in black and white. I admire her grit, though. Takes guts to try and rebuild your life with a record like that, but I can't risk the fallout. Felony charges at the Christmas party? Pass. The more I look at them, the more I can't realize Nyla is far more beautiful than any of them. She's someone I would genuinely date even if I didn't need a fake marriage. In fact, if circumstances were different, I would take her out and try to woo her. But time isn't on my side, and I don't have the ability to commit to a real relationship. I wonder if I can pay her for a couple of sessions to pretend to be my girlfriend, but I feel uncertain about how to approach it. The door to my office suddenly slams open. Nyla bursts in, eyes blazing, fury etched across her face. Her scrubs look wrinkled like she hasn't slept, and I can tell she means business. "You arrogant bastard!" she spits out, her voice quivering with anger. I blink, taken aback. "Good morning to you too, Nurse Nyla." "Don't you dare patronize me!" She marches right up to my desk, slamming her hands down. I can't help but notice how sexy she is when she's angry. "You're withholding treatment for money? My grandpa's life is at stake, and you're making this about a paycheck?" I lean back in my chair, trying to keep my cool. "Hold on, it's not that simple." "Oh, it's not?" she retorts, eyes narrowing. "Because it sure looks that way from where I'm standing." I stand up, meeting her fiery gaze. "Listen, Nyla, this hospital runs on money. The board." "Don't give me that board crap!" She cuts me off, stepping closer. "This is about you and your twisted idea of a business proposition. How dare you use my grandfather's condition as leverage?" My jaw tightens. "I'm trying to help you. The treatment isn't cheap and it's not covered by insurance. You think I don't care?" She scoffs, crossing her arms. "I think you care about your image more than anything else. Your reputation, your money, your damned playboy lifestyle." I step around the desk, closing the distance between us. "You don't know anything about me." "I know enough," she fires back. "I know you're willing to use people to get what you want. And right now you want me to be your fake wife to save face." My patience wears thin. Yes, I want you to marry me. And yes, it would help my image. But I'm also offering to save your grandfather's life. I can see the fury in her eyes, the way her hands tremble as she crosses her arms tighter. I know I've pushed her to the edge, and I need to act fast. Desperation claws at me, and I take a deep breath. Nyla, I say, my voice softer, trying to break through the wall of anger she's built around herself. Please, just hear me out. She scoffs, but doesn't interrupt. Progress. I get it. You think I'm some rich asshole who's trying to manipulate you. And maybe you're right. But I'm also a man who can help you save your grandfather's life. Her eyes narrow. At what cost? My dignity? My self-respect? I take a step closer, lowering my voice. At the cost of a few months of your time, pretend to be my wife. We both get what we want. You get the money for the treatment, and I get the board off my back. She shakes her head, disbelief etched on her face. You think it's that simple? Nothing in life is simple, Nyla, I say, frustration seeping into my tone. But this could be a win-win. You don't have to like me. Hell, you can hate me. But if I lose my place as CEO, be damn sure my replacement won't help you or your grandfather. She looks away, biting her lip. I can see the conflict in her eyes, the way she's weighing her options. Why me? She asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Why not one of those women in your dossiers? I shrug, trying to keep my tone light. They don't have what you have. And what's that? She challenges, looking back at me. Guts. Determination. Fire, I say, meeting her gaze head on. You're not like them. You're real. And right now, I need real. She's silent for a moment, her eyes searching mine. I can see the tears she's holding back, the way she's fighting to stay strong. I'm just hoping behind those watery eyes she's considering my offer.
Chapter 10. I stand in front of Jacob Stone, my fists clenched, my breath ragged. The weight of my decision presses down on me like a boulder. I can't believe I'm about to do this. Fine, I say, the words slipping out before I can second-guess myself. I'll do it. I'll marry you. Jacob's eyebrows shoot up, genuine surprise flickering across his face. Wait, what? You'll do it? I nod, feeling the gravity of my choice sink in. Yes, I'm serious. I don't have any other option. He recovers quickly, a smirk forming on his lips. Well, I didn't expect you to change your mind this fast. Desperate times call for desperate measures, I mutter, crossing my arms. You really know how to make a guy feel good about himself, Nyla Thomas, he responds with a smirk. With all your ego, you'll be fine. All right, I say, taking a deep breath. We need to hash out the details. Jacob steps closer, his presence dominating the small space. Well, first, we need to make it look real. We'll have to attend events as a couple, and of course, convince my family. Your family? I raise an eyebrow. You didn't mention that before. They're part of the package, he says with a shrug. You'll meet them, and they'll scrutinize every move we make. Think you can handle that? I let out a bitter laugh. I'm a nurse. I deal with life and death situations daily. I think I can handle your family? Fair enough. He looks at me, his eyes intense. Also, no one at the hospital can know about this. I don't want this getting out and becoming some ridiculous soap opera. Jacob's smirk fades into a more serious expression. That's going to be tough. The media is all over me, and they'll be sniffing around for any hint of a story. Keeping this under wraps might be impossible. Then we make it believable, I counter, my voice firm. But the people I work with, they can't know. I don't want them treating me differently or thinking I'm some gold digger. He runs a hand through his hair, contemplating. All right, we'll keep it as low-key as possible. But you have to understand, the minute we step out together, people will start talking. I get it, I say, crossing my arms. But I'm not going to be the next tabloid headline. You need to control the narrative. Jacob chuckles, a deep, rich sound. You're feisty. I like that. Okay, we'll control the narrative. We'll release a statement. Something about a whirlwind romance. People eat that damn up. I roll my eyes. Great. Just what I always wanted, to be part of a billionaire's love story. You know, you might be surprised. Once you're with a billionaire, I cut him off before he even speaks that thought into existence. Let's get one thing straight, I say, holding up a hand to stop him mid-smirk. This marriage might be fake, but I have real boundaries. He tilts his head, intrigued. Go on. There will be no sleeping together, I declare, watching his smirk falter. This isn't some cheap romance novel. We're not going to fall into bed just because we're under the same roof. Jacob nods slowly, taking in my words. Got it. No sex. What else? I'll give you one public display of affection for every public encounter, but don't expect anything more than a kiss or holding hands, and it'll be on my terms. His eyes gleam with amusement. Your terms, huh? I suppose I can work with that. Anything else? All public appearances need to be communicated to me at least 2 days in advance. I'm not going to drop everything because you decided we need to be seen together. Jacob chuckles, a low rumble that vibrates through the room. You drive a hard bargain, Nyla, but fair enough. Anything else? I look Jacob straight in the eye, my resolve unwavering. We need to tell my parents. He frowns, his jaw tightening. You sure about that? I mean, I could give two hells less about lying to my parents, but I don't know what relationship you have with yours. I just don't want them finding out from some tabloid. We tell them, then we tell them it didn't work out. They deserve at least that much. Jacob nods slowly, considering my words. All right, we'll tell them. But remember, this is all part of the act. We need to be convincing. I sigh, feeling the weight of the decision settle on my shoulders. Fine, but they need to hear it from me first. Jacob extends his hand, a smirk playing on his lips. Deal. I shake his hand, the contact sending a strange jolt through me. Deal. We stand there for a moment, hands clasped, eyes locked. I can't help but wonder how I ended up here, making a deal with the devil himself. But for my grandfather, I'd do anything. All right. When do we tell them? Jacob asks, breaking the silence. Soon, I say, my voice firm. I'll call them and set it up. Just let me know where and when, responds, releasing my hand. I nod, already dreading the conversation. I'll text you the details. As I turn to leave, Jacob's voice stops me. Nyla, one more thing. I glance back, raising an eyebrow. What? This marriage, it might be fake, but I want you to know I'll hold up my end of the bargain. Your grandfather will get the best care, no matter what. I study his face, searching for any hint of insincerity, but all I see is determination. Thank you, I say softly, and I mean it. For all his faults, Jacob Stone might just be my lifeline. See you tomorrow? He asks, flashing a grin that's both infuriating and oddly reassuring. Yeah, I reply, heading out the door. As I walk down the hall, I can't shake the feeling that I've just signed up for the ride of my life. But with Jacob's promise echoing in my mind, I know I'm doing the right thing. For my grandfather, I'd face any storm, even if it means weathering it with Jacob Stone. Chapter 11. Nyla. The elevator doors slide open, and I step out, almost bumping into Lori and Zara. Lori's face is etched with concern, while Zara eyes me with that familiar suspicion. "Nyla, what are you doing here?" Lori asks, her voice tinged with worry. "Yeah, didn't realize you were working," Zara adds, crossing her arms and narrowing her eyes. "I need an excuse, fast." "I was just visiting Grandpa," I say, trying to sound casual. Dr. Patel wanted to discuss the experimental drug, Neuromax, the one they're considering for his treatment. Lori nods slowly, her concern not entirely erased. "How's he doing?" I swallow hard, feeling the weight of the situation press down on me. "Not great. That's why they're pushing for Neuromax. It's our last shot." Zara's gaze sharpens. "And that's why you're on the business floors, discussing it with the Dr. Patel?" I force a smile, hoping it doesn't look as fake as it feels. "Yeah, they needed me to sign some papers. You know how it is with these new treatments, red tape everywhere." Lori's expression softens, but Zara's eyes remain skeptical. "You sure that's all it is? You seem different." "Different?" I echo, raising an eyebrow. "How so?" Zara shrugs, but her eyes don't leave mine. "I don't know. You've been acting strange lately. Distracted." I let out a sigh, trying to convey exhaustion rather than panic. "Zara, I've got a lot on my plate. Grandpa's condition, extra shifts, bills piling up. It's a lot to handle." Lori places a comforting hand on my shoulder. "We get it. If you need anything, just ask." I nod, grateful for her support. "Thanks, Lori. I appreciate it." Zara eyes me for a moment longer, before finally relenting. "All right. Just take care of yourself, okay?" "Will do," I say, managing a genuine smile this time. "Thanks, Zara." As I walk away, I can feel their eyes on my back. Lori's filled with concern, Zara's with suspicion. I just hope my excuse holds up long enough for me to figure out the next step. The hallway feels like it's closing in on me, each step echoing louder than the last. I need to get out of here before someone else corners me with questions I'm not ready to answer. After another daunting shift, I slump into the hard seat of the bus, my mind whirling with the day's events. The eviction notice flashes in my thoughts like a neon sign, impossible to ignore. 2 weeks left. Homelessness isn't a look I can pull off, even if it's for a fake engagement. If I'm going to be Jacob Stone's pretend fiancé, I might as well take advantage of it. I pull out my phone to call, but decide better of it. This is a conversation that needs to be had face to face. Determined, I decide waiting until morning isn't an option either. If Jacob Stone's still at the office, now's my chance. Besides, I've got a night shift in a couple of hours. What do I have to lose? At worst, I can grab a bite in the cafeteria. I reroute back to the hospital, the city lights blurring past as the bus weaves through traffic. An hour later, and the familiar sight of the hospital looms ahead, an imposing structure of glass and steel. My nerves buzz like a live wire, but I shake it off. No room for doubt now. I stride through the automatic doors into the place that I spend more time in than my own home. It most certainly will be where I spend most of my time in 2 weeks if I don't get something resolved with Jacob. Thankfully, no one is in the lobby, because if they were, I'm sure they would be deaf from how loud my thoughts are right now. I hustle through the lobby, nodding at the security guard who barely looks up from his phone. The elevator ride feels like it takes forever. The soft hum of machinery, the only sound. Finally, the doors slide open, and I step back out onto the business floor. The hallway is dim and deserted. After all the action takes place in the ER after hours, not the business side full of ties and heels. I look down the long hallway and notice his office door is ajar. light spilling into the dim hallway. Bingo, he's still here. I decide against knocking, afraid I might alert him. Instead, I take a quick peek inside through the crack in the door. My heart sinks as I survey Jacob's office. The scene hits me like a punch to the gut. Jacob's there, but he's not alone. A stunning blonde woman in a trench coat stands beside him, and as she drops the coat, revealing alluring lingerie, my mind races. I freeze, my breath catching in my throat. They haven't noticed me yet, too wrapped up in their own world. I can't believe what I'm seeing. We aren't even married yet, and already it feels like he's betraying my trust, and I am pissed. My feet move before my brain can catch up. I push the door open, making a point to let it slam against the wall. The sound echoes, cutting through the charged atmosphere. Jacob's head snaps up, eyes widening in shock. The blonde, now scrambling to cover herself with the trench coat, looks equally stunned. "Well, honey, this is unexpected," I mutter, stepping fully into the room.
Chapter 12. Jacob. The office is quiet, the kind of silence that only comes after everyone else has gone home. I sit at my desk, a single lamp casting a warm glow over the sea of papers. Contracts, reports, and a file on Cornelius Rex. My head throbs from the hours spent staring at legal jargon and medical terms. "All right, Jacob, let's get this done," I mutter to myself, stretching my neck. The contract for Nyla is almost finalized. Just a few more tweaks. The Neuromax trial document for her grandfather is open on my laptop, highlighting the risks. Failure rates are staring back at me like a ticking time bomb. Why does everything have to be so damn complicated? I groan, running a hand through my hair. The door creaks open, and Linda, my secretary, peeks in. "You're still here?" she asks, raising an eyebrow. "Can't you tell?" "My ass is glued to this chair," I reply, smirking. "What's up?" "I thought you'd want to know that Dr. Patel left a message. Something about new data on Neuromax," she says, stepping inside and handing me a folder. "Thanks, Linda. I'll call him tomorrow. It's late. You should head home." "No need to stick around," I say, taking the folder. "Are you sure? You look like you could use some coffee," she offers, concern in her eyes. "Positive. Go home, get some rest. I'll survive," I assure her. She nods, giving me a small smile before leaving. I continue to flip through the folder, my eyes analyzing the data. It's a mixed bag. Some promising results, but the failure rates are still troubling. I barely have time to process the data before the door swings open again. This time, it's not Linda. It's Trixa, striding in like she owns the place. Her trench coat is belted tight, and her eyes are locked onto mine. "What the hell are you doing here, Trixa?" I snap, not bothering to hide my irritation. She saunters over, ignoring my question. "Jacob, I've been thinking about you," she says, her voice dripping with faux sincerity. "I can't get you out of my mind." I lean back in my chair, crossing my arms. That's funny. I didn't know there was much that went on inside there besides lies, manipulation, and infidelity. She flinches but quickly recovers, stepping closer. "People make mistakes, Jacob. You know I never meant to hurt you." I snort. "Yeah, well, some mistakes are unforgivable." Trixa steps closer, and with a dramatic flourish, she opens her coat. Lingerie. Just lingerie. The kind that costs more than a small car. I resist the urge to roll my eyes. "Are you more willing to forgive me if I get on my knees for you?" she asks with a sickening smile. "Really, Trixa? We're doing this again?" I say, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "Don't act like you aren't interested," she purrs, strutting towards me, her hips swaying like she's on a runway. "Sorry, I'm busy," I reply, turning my attention back to the Neuromax data. She places a hand on my shoulder, trying to draw my gaze back to her. "Come on, Jacob. Let's forget about work for a bit. We had fun, didn't we?" "Sure we did. That is before you decided the turkey wasn't the only thing getting stuffed on Thanksgiving. I shrug off her hand and continue flipping through the folder. She huffs, clearly frustrated. You need to let that damn go. It was a mistake, a lapse in judgment. A lapse in judgment? You make it sound like you misplaced your keys, not your dignity. Trixa's eyes narrow. You don't have to be so cruel. Cruel? Cruel would be me letting you stay here thinking you have a chance, I say, not looking up. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have real work to do. She steps in front of me, blocking my view of the desk. You're really going to choose paperwork over me? Yes, I say simply, leaning to the side to continue reading. I have more important things to focus on. Her frustration is palpable. She slams her hands on the desk, making the papers jump. Why are you being so stubborn? Because, Trixa, I have responsibilities, things that actually matter, and quite frankly, you're not one of them. Her eyes flash with anger, but she quickly masks it with a seductive smile. I can make you forget all about those responsibilities, she whispers, leaning in close. I lean back in my chair, giving her a bored look. Tempting offer, but I'll pass. She pouts, crossing her arms. You're impossible. No, I'm just not interested. Now, if you don't mind, I've got a patient's life to think about, I say, my tone final. Trixa's eyes narrow, her anger simmering beneath a veneer of false calm. So, this is about her, isn't it? The rumors are true. You've got a girlfriend, she accuses, crossing her arms. I can't help but smirk at her attempt to get under my skin. Oh, you've been listening to the grapevine, have you? I lean back in my chair, casually folding my arms. Yes, I have a girlfriend, but she's not your concern. Her face twists into a sneer. Not my concern? You think I care about some random girl you're using to clean up your image? I think you care a lot more than you're letting on, I reply, my tone cool and measured. But like I said, it's none of your business. Trixa's hands ball into fists at her sides. You're unbelievable, Jacob. You think you can just move on like that, after everything we had? I let out a dry laugh. Everything we had? You mean the lies, the betrayal? Yeah, moving on wasn't exactly hard. Her eyes narrow, anger flaring. Who is she? Tell me. I lean back in my chair, crossing my arms. When the time is right, Trixa. Her lips curl into a sneer. Oh, come on, don't be coy. You can't just drop a bomb like that and expect me to sit quietly. Watch me, I reply, my tone icy. This conversation is over. The door swings open and Nyla strides in, eyes blazing. The tension in the room cranks up a notch. Well, honey. This is unexpected, Nyla says, clearly throwing daggers at me with her eyes. I know what they say about marriage, but I hadn't planned for the dam to hit the fan so soon. Chapter 13. Jacob. Trixa spins around after securing her coat, her eyes wide. And who the hell are you? Nursing faculty aren't allowed on the business floor. Nyla crosses her arms, standing her ground. And neither are hookers. Trixa scoffs in outrage as I try to hide my laugh. Excuse me, I'm Trixa, Jacob's friend. Nyla's face contorts with disgust, with underlying humor. Little underdressed to be coming to visit a friend, huh? I can't help but smirk at the tension sparking between them. Trixa was just leaving, I say, leaning back in my chair, enjoying the show. Leaving? Trixa echoes, her voice dripping with disbelief. Oh, not at all. Not yet. I take a deep breath, realizing I need to take control of this situation before it gets out of hand. Trixa, meet my fiancé. Trixa's jaw drops, her eyes darting from Nyla's scrubs to her own body. The disbelief is almost comical. Fiancé? Her? She lets her coat slip open with an arrogant smirk. Are you sure? Nyla steps forward, holding her head high. Yeah, me. Any problem with that? Trixa circles Nyla like a shark sensing blood in the water, her tone dripping with superiority. You don't exactly look like Jacob's type, sweetie. Nyla doesn't miss a beat. And you don't exactly look like you're very wholesome to bring home to Mama. But hey, who am I to judge? Trixa circles Nyla, clearly intrigued yet condescending, her tone dripping with superiority. Who are you? Where are you from? Trixa fires off questions, clearly off balance and dismissive, treating Nyla as an intruder. Nyla's eyes flash with irritation, but she stands her ground. Nyla Thomas, nurse, from Queens. Anything else? Do you need my social security number, blood type? Trixa raises an eyebrow, a smirk playing on her lips. Queens? How delightful. A little junkyard dog for Jacob. I interject, leaning forward, my voice hard. Trixa, enough. She glances at me, her smirk fading. I'm just curious, Jacob. How does someone like her end up with someone like you? Did she come to clean your kitchen? Nyla steps closer to Trixa, her eyes locking onto hers. Someone like me? You mean someone who works hard and doesn't rely on their daddy's connections to get by? Trixa's face tightens. You've got a mouth on you, don't you? Only one of us is standing here in our panties, sister, she retorts back. Trixa's eyes flash with anger and she takes a step to me. She walks around Nyla. I may have very little on right now, she says. But I could crush you like a tiny little bug, Nyla Thomas. I don't have to play by anyone's rules, because I make them, darling. I look at Nyla. She's trying to keep it together. You, however, she says mockingly with acid dripping from her words. You have to watch your mouth because you play by the rules that I could change at any moment. So maybe learn your place in this conversation. My place is next to Jacob, Nyla shoots back, and I think yours is on the other side of this door. I can't help but admire her fire. I stand up, moving to her side. Trixa, this is none of your business. Leave. Finally, Trixa turns to me and declares, I don't believe you. This doesn't make sense. With that, she storms out, leaving me unsure of how to respond. Nyla runs to the door, calling out to Trixa, Oh, you might want to tie up that trench coat. I'd hate to have to treat you down in the ER for frostbite to your nips. And well, lips. I can't stop the laugh that comes out of me. I can hear Trixa's frustrated sighs down the hall. Damn, this girl. She's something else. She returns inside the office and shuts the door. We stand there staring for a brief moment, contemplating how to best explain the awkwardness that is my life. Nyla breaks the silence first, crossing her arms and raising an eyebrow at me. So, that was fun. Your usual Tuesday night? I exhale, rubbing the back of my neck. Unfortunately, more common than I'd like to admit. Trixa has a flair for the dramatic. Nyla looks at me, confusion written all over her face. Who is she to you? I sigh, rubbing the back of my neck. My ex-girlfriend. She cheated on me with my cousin. Nyla's eyebrows shoot up. I'm surprised. I had the impression that she is so classy. I snort. Yeah, she's a real gem, I reply, sarcasm dripping from my words. But don't worry, she's ancient history. I don't care about her at all. Nyla rolls her eyes. Look, Jacob, I understand our relationship is purely a business arrangement. Just don't make me look bad. I have enough to deal with. I step closer, locking eyes with her. Nyla, I promise. Trixa's just a nuisance. I won't let her, or anyone else, mess this up for us. Nyla crosses her arms, eyes narrowing. I don't care who you care about. I just don't want this to be a problem, especially with my eviction looming. I've got enough on my plate. Eviction? I ask, generally concerned. Yeah, 2 weeks before your makeshift fiancé is homeless. Grandpa's medical bills are quite hefty. After paying them, there's not much left for rent, and it doesn't help that I got fired from my second job the other day. I instantly feel a surge of unexplainable frustration. You pull 12-hour shifts and then work a second job? Well, I did, yes. Gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. I don't hesitate. You can come stay with me. She looks at me like I've grown another head. I can what? I grab my keys, already calling for my car. Most people who have plans to get married live together, Nyla. You're moving in. Now come on. It can only make this look more believable. She follows, albeit reluctantly, as we head toward the elevator. This isn't some ploy to get me into your bed, is it? I chuckle, pressing the button for the top floor. Nyla, I distinctly remember you saying that my reproductive organs can't be within 5 feet of you. Her eyes roll, but there's a hint of a smile. Touche. We exit the elevator into the underground parking lot. My driver, Paul, is already waiting by the sleek black Mercedes. I open the door for her, and she slides in, looking around at the plush interior. Nice ride, she mutters as I join her in the back seat. Thanks. It gets me from point A to point B, I reply, buckling up. Paul glances at us through the rearview mirror. Home, sir? Yes, Paul. And step on it, I say, my voice dripping with authority. Nyla shakes her head, smirking. Do you always talk like a mob boss? Only when I'm rescuing damsels in distress, I shoot back, enjoying the way her smirk grows. She laughs, a sound that's both surprising and welcome. You're something else, Jacob Stone. I've been told worse, I say, leaning back in my seat, watching the city lights blur past the windows. You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. And when I'm done, you're...
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy.
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
And you might got the money.
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaire's audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. Everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you?
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance.
Chapter 14. Jacob. Nyla returns from her apartment, carrying a couple of duffel bags and a cardboard box. She's moving fast, and I can see the tension in her shoulders as she approaches the car. I step out and take one of the bags from her. You sure you got everything? She nods, slightly breathless. Just the essentials. I'll pack up the rest later. I open the trunk and place the bag inside. Don't worry about it. I'll have someone come in and handle it. She blinks, taken aback. Really? Thank you. I shrug, leaning against the car. It's the least I can do. I'm the reason you're uprooting your life after all. She laughs softly, shaking her head. Yeah, because getting evicted and having my grandpa's medical bills skyrocket wasn't enough excitement. I give her a lopsided grin. Hey, if you wanted a boring life, you wouldn't be hanging out with me. She rolls her eyes, but there's a hint of a smile on her lips. We fall into a comfortable silence as Paul drives us back to Manhattan, the 59th Street Bridge looming ahead. The city lights twinkle in the distance, casting a warm glow over the water. Nyla stares out the window, lost in thought. I can't help but steal glances at Nyla. She's fiddling with the hem of her scrub top, clearly uncomfortable. I should probably say something to break the ice, but the right words are escaping me. I'm not exactly used to having women in my life for anything beyond a good time. Nyla finally speaks up, her voice tentative. So, Trixa? I raise an eyebrow. What about her? She shrugs, trying to seem casual, but failing miserably. Why can't she be your fake girlfriend? Seems like she's already interested. I laugh, a short, bitter sound. Trixa's a piece of work, trust me. The last thing I need is more of her drama. Nyla looks intrigued. Drama? Like, how? The kind of drama I don't need in my life, I say, running a hand through my hair. It took me way too long to figure that out, especially with my family pushing me to give her another chance. I need someone I can trust, not someone who'll stab me in the back the first opportunity she gets. Nyla nods, her eyes softening. Family can be like that. They mean well, but sometimes they just don't get it. I snort. That's an understatement. The car comes to a smooth stop in front of my building. The doorman rushes to open the door for us, and I step out, offering Nyla a hand. She hesitates for a second before taking it, her grip firm and warm. Welcome to my humble abode, I say, leading her inside. She snorts. Humble, right? This place probably costs more than I'll make in my lifetime. I laugh. Well, it's got its perks. Come on, let's get you settled. We step into the elevator and I can see Nyla's tension melt away bit by bit as the numbers climb. When the doors open to the penthouse, she stops dead in her tracks, eyes wide. Holy crap, she breathes out, taking in the sheer size of the place. I can't help but chuckle. Not what you're used to? She shakes her head slowly, still gawking. My entire apartment could fit in just this living room. Twice. Welcome to your new reality, I say, dropping her bags near the entrance. Make yourself at home. She turns to me, eyebrow raised. Home, huh? Doesn't exactly feel real. Give it time, I reply. You'll adjust. If you need anything, just let me know. She nods, still somewhat dazed. I could use a shower. I've been in these scrubs all day. Of course, I say, pointing down the hallway. Your room's the first door on the left. There's a bathroom attached. Feel free to use anything you find. She mumbles a thank you and heads toward the room, her steps echoing softly on the hardwood floors. I watch her go, appreciating the way she moves, graceful, even when exhausted. Alone in my room, I lean back in the leather chair, running a hand through my hair. I can't stop thinking about Nyla. Her presence in my penthouse, even if it's for this absurd arrangement, feels oddly intimate. The sound of the shower running down the hall does nothing to help my focus.
Looks like the level of passion in this chapter is pushing YouTube's limit.
It's disappointing, I know. Trust me when I say we want nothing more than to get down to the dirty details.
But releasing these free audiobooks on YouTube means that we have to abide by the rules.
Even though YouTube won't allow us to put something so spicy on the air, you can still find it on TylaWalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an unbelievable collection of uncut, unabridged audiobooks and ebooks.
For access to the full, unfiltered scene, go to TylaWalker.com and use code SAVE40 for 40% off any digital product.
This is the deal of a lifetime, a discount that can be applied to bundles that are already listed at a discounted price.
You heard that right. It's time for you to treat yourself.
With Miss Tyla. Chapter 15. Nyla. My phone buzzes on the nightstand, breaking my moment of quiet. I glance at the screen. Jacob. Of course. I have a rare bit of time not at the hospital, and I'm literally sitting trying to get my head around everything that's happening. But that's about to go away, I'm guessing. Hello, I answer, already bracing myself for whatever chaos he's about to unleash. Hello yourself, he replies, his voice annoyingly calm. Listen, I know it's last minute, but my mom just called. She wants me over for dinner tonight and insisted I bring my girlfriend. What? I nearly choke on my own disbelief. Jacob, I don't have anything to wear. Relax. I'm already on it. he says smoothly. I'm sending over a gown. A gown? You're sending over a gown? How did you know I'd agree to this madness? My panic is escalating, and the thought of dining with his family in a borrowed gown doesn't help. Because you know we have to get it over with sooner or later, he says, his tone matter of fact. Besides, you're a smart woman. You know it's better to rip off the Band-Aid. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. What time? I'll pick you up at 5, he replies before hanging up. I stare at my phone for a moment, wondering how I got roped into this circus act. Minutes later, there's a knock on the door. I open it to find a delivery guy holding an elegant garment bag. For Miss Thomas, he says with a smile. I nod, accepting the bag and closing the door behind me. Unzipping it, I reveal an absolutely stunning gown, something out of a fairy tale, or maybe one of those red carpet events Zara always dreams about. Wow, I whisper to myself, running my fingers over the fabric. It's silky and smooth under my touch, far more luxurious than anything I've ever owned. Time flies as I get ready. The gown fits perfectly, almost like it was made for me, which, knowing Jacob's resources, it probably was. A quick touch-up of makeup and some jewelry completes the look. At precisely 5 p.m., Jacob arrives at my door. He looks me up and down appreciatively. Even better than my imagination. I roll my eyes, but can't help the small smile that tugs at my lips. Thanks for the dress. He extends his arm with an air of authority that both irritates and intrigues me. Shall we? As we head out to his car, I can't shake off the feeling that tonight is going to be more than just a dinner. It's going to be an experience in damage control and deception. And maybe, just maybe, a glimpse into Jacob Stone's complicated world. We get into his sleek black car, and as he starts driving toward his family home, an uncomfortable silence settles between us. You look beautiful tonight, he finally says without taking his eyes off the road. Thanks, I reply quietly. Let's just get through this dinner without any disasters. He chuckles softly, but doesn't say anything else. We both know this night is going to be anything but simple. The car glides to a stop outside 63rd and Park Avenue, the Stone family mansion. My stomach twists into a tight knot. Jacob steps out first, offering me his hand. I take it, feeling the cool night air brush against my skin through the delicate fabric of the gown he gifted me. Ready? He asks, his voice low and confident. Ready as I'll ever be, I reply, forcing a smile. We walk through the grand entrance and into the dining room where his family awaits. The room is opulent, all marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Hilda and William Stone stand at the head of the table, their expressions shifting as they take me in. Jacob introduces me as a nurse from his hospital. Nyla Thomas, this is my mother Hilda and my father William, Jacob says, his grip tightening around my hand just a fraction. Nyla is a nurse at Stone Hospital. Lovely to meet you, I say, trying to keep my tone bright. Hilda's smile is thin. A nurse? How pedestrian? William offers a curt nod. Welcome. What must be Jacob's sister Julia steps forward with a genuine smile. It's great to finally meet you, Nyla. Jacob's been so secretive. An older gentleman raises his glass in a neutral gesture. Cheers to new faces. Jacob leans over to whisper in my ear. That's Uncle George. He's a man of very few words. Pleasure to meet you, George, I say in his direction with a smile. We take our seats at the table, and I feel like an exotic bird on display. Hilda's eyes linger on me longer than necessary. Dinner starts off quietly enough, but it doesn't take long for Hilda to pounce. Her voice dripping with curiosity. Where are your parents from? Brooklyn, I reply, cutting a piece of my steak. They've lived there all their lives. And what do they do? Hilda presses, her eyes narrowing slightly. My father runs a small business, I say, trying to keep my tone even. And my mother volunteers at a local community center. It's not a lie, just a simplified version of the truth. What business is he in? William asks, genuinely interested. I hesitate. He runs an auto body shop, I say. A mechanic? Hilda asks. Yes, I answer stoically. Nyla's dad is a fixture in their community, Jacob says. Yes, I'm sure a lot of taxi and livery cabs are based in Brooklyn, Hilda says with a smirk. They'll need somewhere to go when they break down. He makes a good living, I say a bit defensively. Oh, I'm sure, dear, Hilda says. I've never expressed to Jacob how sad I am that he didn't go into the auto body repair field. Mother, Jacob says warningly. Oh, shush, Jacob, dear, Hilda says. Then she turns back to me. And what about your education? Where did you go to school? I attended CUNY for nursing, I say, feeling Jacob's hand give mine a reassuring squeeze under the table. CUNY is a good quality education, William interjects, nodding awkwardly. Hilda isn't satisfied yet. William and I chair a scholarship at CUNY for disadvantaged youths, she says. It's a shame we didn't meet you earlier. We could have helped you apply. I took out loans, I say. I'm still paying them back. Oh, so you're also drowning in debt then? Hilda says. You must be with what they pay nurses. Oh, Jacob, you know how to find them, don't you? I'll have paid the loans one day, I reply, trying to hold my temper. And then I'll have a degree that will let me work to better myself. You may better yourself, Hilda says, but I don't think you'll ever catch up to your betters. There is silence around the table. No one says anything. I look down at my plate. Hilda presses on. And what did you do for fun growing up? Any interesting stories? Or family vacations? I chuckle softly. We didn't really do vacations. Mostly, I hung out on my block with friends. Hilda's eyebrows shoot up. Hung out on your block? Yeah, I say, taking a sip of water. We'd sometimes open a fire hydrant and have a blast cooling off in the summer heat. Julia laughs, clearly amused. That sounds like fun. Hilda looks puzzled. Yes, there's nothing like a little criminal mischief to brighten the day. Hilda, William interjects this time, trying to quiet his wife. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, Hilda continues. Daughter of a grease monkey. Jacob cuts in smoothly. Well, everyone has different experiences growing up, Mom. That's what makes us all unique. Hilda's gaze sharpens as she leans forward slightly, clearly not done with her interrogation. I'm still in shock. Did she seriously call my father a grease monkey? I suppose, she says. Tell me, what time of summer does your family usually go to Montauk? We don't go to Montauk, Mrs. Stone, I reply coolly. My heart is racing and my palms are sweaty. Oh, I see, Hilda says. So it's the South Shore then? We don't go there either, I reply back. Ever. They probably have never ventured out of the state, let alone the country Hilda. The ever-ominous Uncle Gregory speaks up, and here I thought I may have had a silent ally. You mean you don't even go on the jitney? Hilda asks, fake astonished. I can understand no helicopter, but not even the jitney. No, I've never been to Long Island, I say. The room goes quiet for a beat, the clink of silverware on plates momentarily halting. Hilda looks at me like I've just admitted to never having tasted chocolate. Never? She echoes, as if she didn't hear me right the first time. Never? I confirm, cutting into my steak. Pity, Uncle Gregory mumbles as he sips his wine. Julia jumps in, trying to lighten the mood. You're not missing much. It's just overpriced lobster rolls and sand that gets everywhere. Jacob chuckles beside me, his hand finding mine under the table again. She's right. It's overrated. Hilda doesn't seem convinced. Well, surely you've had some sort of overseas vacation? A trip to Europe, perhaps? Nope, I say with a shrug. Closest I've come is watching Under the Tuscan Sun. William actually cracks a smile at that. Good movie, he says, surprising me. I smile back. Yeah, it is. Hilda puts her fork on her plate and looks at me. What could you possibly have in common with my son? We have plenty in common, Jacob says quickly. We both work at the hospital. I'm sure there must be something else, she says. Perhaps what she has underneath her clothes. I hear Uncle Gregory say more to himself than anyone. I secretly hope that Jacob heard the degrading remark, but he doesn't seem to have, as he continues staring holes into his mother. Jacob, are you sure this isn't a practical joke? She asks. Enough, Jacob says. Nyla makes me very happy. And I think maybe you've had too much wine. Hilda leans forward slightly, her eyes narrowing. Nyla, do you have transportation home this evening? Does your kind take the subway at all hours? I take a deep breath, bracing myself. Actually, I'm staying with Jacob. The room falls silent for a moment. Hilda's eyebrows shoot up, and she glances at Jacob as if seeking confirmation. William's fork hovers midair. Staying with Jacob? Hilda repeats, her tone incredulous. Jacob doesn't miss a beat. She's my fiancée. Why shouldn't she? Hilda's jaw tightens. Fiancé? Well, that's fast. I can't help but smirk at Jacob's confident declaration. It just may end that sense, I add casually. Julia's eyes sparkle with mischief. So when's the wedding? Do I need to start planning a bachelorette party? Jacob laughs, his grip on my hand tightening just a bit. Not so fast, Julia. We're still figuring things out. William finally speaks up, his voice steady. You're serious about this? Jacob nods. Absolutely. Hilda doesn't look convinced. And where will you be living after the wedding? Surely not in that small apartment of yours. Jacob smirks. She's already staying at the penthouse. Her eyes widen slightly before she regains her composure. Well then, I suppose congratulations are in order, she says stiffly. Thank you, I reply with a tight smile. Thanks for the meal, Mom, but we have to get going. We have some wedding planning to do, Jacob interjects, seeming to be hurriedly trying to escape his family. As we head toward the door, Hilda's voice rings out behind us. Welcome to the family, she says, waving goodbye with a smirk that makes my stomach churn. Once we're outside, I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Well, that was something. Jacob squeezes my hand. They're not always that bad, just, protective. I snort. Protective? Felt more like an assault. He chuckles, his eyes twinkling with amusement. Welcome to my world. We walk toward his car, the cool night air offering a slight reprieve from the heat of Hilda's scrutiny. As we settle into the plush leather seats, Jacob glances at me, concern flickering in his eyes. You okay? I nod, though my mind is still reeling. Yeah, just overwhelmed. Your mom is intense. That's putting it mildly, he says with a wry smile. I laugh softly. Understatement of the year. The engine roars to life, and we pull away from the mansion. Silence fills the car for a moment, but it's far from silent in my mind.
Chapter 16. Jacob. The ride back home is a quiet one, but the silence is anything but peaceful. My grip tightens on my knees. My parents' faces, smug and judgmental, flash in my mind. Mom's condescending questions and Dad's silent complicity. Even Uncle George, who should know better, didn't lift a finger to help. "Are you sure you're okay?" I ask, breaking the silence. Nyla turns to me, her expression unreadable. "I've had worse," she says, her tone flat. "Worse than my mom grilling you like you were on trial?" She shrugs. "I expected it. Just didn't think it'd be so relentless." Relentless is putting it mildly. I let out a sigh. They were out of line. Especially my mom. "It's fine, really," she insists, but I can see the tension in her shoulders. "No, it's not. They were rude and disrespectful. You didn't deserve that." I pause, then add, "And my uncle. He should have known better." "Your uncle was the least of it. Your mom, though. She's something else." "Tell me about it," I mutter. "I'm sorry. I should have prepared you better." "Jacob, you couldn't have prepared me for that. It's like walking into a lion's den." I chuckle despite myself. "Yeah, my family can be a pack of lions, but you handled yourself well." She looks out the window, the city lights casting a soft glow on her face. I had no choice. I glance over at Nyla, her profile softened by the passing streetlights. "You know, my mom's never liked any of my girlfriends." "Really?" She arches an eyebrow. "Can't imagine why." I laugh, the sound harsh even to my ears. "She's possessive, thinks no one's good enough for her precious son. Anyone who tries to take me away from her is the enemy." Nyla smirks, shaking her head. Classic overprotective mom, but deep down she knows she has a good son. "Yeah, sure. A good son who's a constant tabloid feature and a source of endless family drama." I run a hand through my hair, feeling the weight of the night pressing down on me. "Hey, at least you're interesting. Most people are boring." I snort. "Interesting. That's one way to put it. I'm sure you'll be in her good graces in no time." "I don't care either way," Nyla says, her voice firm. "This is a business arrangement, remember? I'm not here to win your mom's approval." "But you should be comfortable," I argue. "She can make things hellish if she wants to." Nyla turns to me, her eyes meeting mine. "Jacob, I've dealt with worse than your mom's disapproval. Trust me, I'll survive." Her confidence, even in the face of my mother's hostility, impresses me. "You're tougher than you look, you know that?" "Yeah, I get that a lot." She grins, the tension easing just a bit. The elevator dings and we step into the hallway of my penthouse. The silence stretches between us, heavy but not uncomfortable. I decide to break it with a smirk. "You know, you really handled that like a pro back there. I was half expecting you to flip the table." Nyla laughs, a sound that echoes softly against the walls. "If I didn't think I would damage this beautiful gown, I would have considered it. Still, you've got some serious guts." I stop by the large window overlooking the city, turning to face her. Most people would have cracked under that kind of pressure. She shrugs, leaning against the wall. She was testing me. I'm not about to fail some overprotective mom's pop quiz. I chuckle, shaking my head. "You make it sound so simple." "It is simple," she says, her eyes locking with mine. "All I have to do is play the role of a dutiful fiancé. Smile, nod, answer questions without giving too much away. And you did it perfectly. Hell, you were more convincing than I could have hoped for." Nyla crosses her arms, her gaze never wavering. "As long as my grandfather is taken care of, you don't need to worry about me." "Noted," I say, stepping closer. "But I'm impressed. You didn't let her get to you, not even once." She raises an eyebrow. "You thought I would?" "Maybe," I admit. "Most people do." "Well, I'm not most people," she says with a sly grin. "I've got thicker skin than that." "Clearly." I lean against the opposite wall, crossing my arms. I lean against the wall. You know, I start, my voice low. I wish I'd met you before all this mess. Nyla tilts her head, a curious glint in her eyes. Before our nuptials, you mean? She stifles a laugh. Must be all the red wine she had to consume to tolerate my mother. Yeah, something like that. Before the board's demands. Before Trixa's drama. Maybe things could have been different. She laughs softly, the sound like a gentle breeze. Different how? You think we'd be riding off into the sunset? Maybe. I step closer, the air between us crackling with an unspoken tension. Maybe we could have had something real. Jacob, she says, her tone teasing. You're a playboy. Real isn't exactly in your vocabulary. True, I admit, smirking. But you're different. You're not like the others. She raises an eyebrow. And what makes you say that? For starters, you're not throwing yourself at me. You're here for your grandpa, not for me. You're being selfless when everyone else was selfish. Flattery will get you nowhere, she quips, but there's a softness in her eyes. I reach out, my fingers brushing against her arm. I'm serious, Nyla. I respect you. More than you know. She looks up at me, her gaze unwavering. Jacob, we're playing a dangerous game. Let's not get carried away. Maybe I want to get carried away, I murmur, leaning in closer. Her breath hitches, and for a moment it feels like the world has shrunk to just the two of us. I can see the conflict in her eyes, the same one I feel. We're inches apart, the tension almost unbearable. But then, a distant siren blares, snapping us back to reality. Nyla pulls away, the moment shattered. We can't, she says, her voice firm but tinged with regret. I take a deep breath, stepping back from Nyla, the air between us still crackling with unresolved tension. You're right, I say, my voice rough. We can't. She nods, looking almost relieved, but also disappointed. Or maybe that's just my wishful thinking. I should, get to bed. Good night, Jacob. Good night, I reply, trying to sound nonchalant. She turns and heads to her room, her footsteps echoing softly down the hallway. I watch her go, feeling a strange mix of frustration and longing. This fake engagement is supposed to solve my problems, not create new ones. But here we are.
Chapter 17. Later that week at work, I'm elbow deep in paperwork when I see Jacob breeze through the ER. The usual chatter dies down and heads swivel. Everyone's wondering what the hell he's doing out here instead of being holed up in his office. I'm organizing patient charts when I feel a presence. Hey, you in the mood for Italian tonight? He asks, casually leaning against the counter. I glare at him, eyes narrowing. We agreed to keep this low-key, I say through gritted teeth. What the hell are you doing? He smirks, completely unfazed. Trying out a new private chef. Thought you might want to join. Private chef? Really? I tried to keep my voice low, aware of Lori and Zara not too far away. Is this your idea of keeping things discreet? Jacob shrugs. A man's gotta eat. Lori and Zara, both at the nurse's station, have their ears practically glued to our conversation. Lori's eyes widen, while Zara's mouth forms a perfect O. I huff, shaking my head. Fine, now go. I've got rounds to finish. Perfect, he says with a wink. 7 o'clock sharp. Don't be late. I turn back to my charts, hoping this conversation is over. Yeah, got it. Jacob lingers for a moment longer than necessary, his eyes never leaving mine. It's both infuriating and intriguing. By the way, he adds, lowering his voice, I'll have someone pick you up. Unnecessary, I snap back. I can get there myself. Sure you can, he says with a grin that makes me want to punch him and kiss him, all at once, He finally leaves, and I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Lori saunters over, eyebrow raised. As soon as Jacob strides away, Lori and Zara pounce like hungry lions on a fresh kill. "Girl, what's going on?" Lori asks, her eyes wide with curiosity. "That's the CEO of the hospital. Why is he asking you about Italian food? And what's this about a private chef?" I can't help but laugh at their eagerness. "Calm down, ladies. It's not what you think." Zara raises an eyebrow, skeptical. "Oh, really? Because it looks like the boss man has a thing for you." I shake my head. It's complicated. Lori's eyes practically bug out of her head. "It's complicated? Nyla, you better start explaining before my curiosity eats me alive." Zara crosses her arms, her skepticism giving way to interest. "Yeah, what kind of complications involves private chefs and, well, him?" I take a deep breath, knowing this is going to be a long explanation. "All right, here's the deal. I'm facing eviction from my apartment. With Grandpa's medical bills and everything else, I just can't keep up. And Jacob, well, he's more than just the CEO, he's my fiancé." Both women gasp in disbelief, their eyes nearly popping out of their heads. Lori is the first to break the stunned silence. "Oh my God, Nyla. Congratulations. I mean, we should congratulate you, right?" She grips my arm, practically vibrating with excitement. "What the actual damn, like, how did this happen? Why didn't you tell me? How big is his apartment?" Better question, how big is his ass? "Shh, slow down, Lori. A little discretion here," I say, trying to pull my arm free. Zara narrows her eyes. "Yeah, Nyla, spill the tea. How do you get all these good-looking guys? Do you have a golden vagina you offer on the first date?" "First off, that's rude, Zara. Second off, it's not like that," I say, shaking my head. "But listen, you guys have to promise not to say anything until it's public. I don't need the added stress of the damn hitting the fan before it actually does." Lori looks like she's about to burst. "Okay, I promise. Scout's honor. But back to the important thing at hand. That man? Come on, there's got to be some pleasure involved." I roll my eyes. "Fine. If you must know, the penthouse is massive. Like, 3 of mine could fit in his living room alone." Zara pouts, folding her arms. "Lucky you. I'd kill for a place like that." Lori isn't deterred. "And the sex? Come on, Nyla, you can't leave us hanging." I smirk, leaning in conspiratorially. "Let's just say we haven't crossed that bridge yet." Zara's jaw drops. "Wait, you mean to tell me you're engaged and you haven't even done it yet?" I nod, keeping my tone light. Believe it or not, it's possible to have a relationship without jumping into bed right away. Lori giggles. "Well, you're a stronger woman than me. If I had a man like that, I wouldn't be able to keep my hands off him." I shrug. "It's complicated. But for now, I've got bigger things to worry about, like keeping my grandpa's treatment on track." Lori's eyes light up like a kid in a candy store. "Wait, we need to celebrate your engagement. When's the best time for you?" I chuckle, shaking my head. "I've got dinner with Jacob and my family tomorrow and Italian food tonight. How about we celebrate soon?" Zara smirks. "Soon? You're acting like you're already booked solid with this guy." "Well," I say, trying to sound casual, "he's a busy man. We're trying to make this relationship work, you know?" Lori leans in, a conspiratorial glint in her eye. "Oh, it's more than that, isn't it? You've got deep feelings for him, don't you?" I roll my eyes, but inside my stomach does a little flip. Look, I do like him as a person. He's not just some random guy off the street. Lori's eyes twinkle with mischief as she leans in closer. So when do we get to meet this fiancé of yours outside of work? I mean, you can't keep him all to yourself. Zara nods, a sly smile spreading across her face. Yeah, we need to make sure he's good enough for you. Plus, I'm dying to see him in a more relaxed setting. I chuckle, shaking my head. You two are relentless. But, all right. I'll talk to him and we will plan something. I bite my lip, considering it. I'm down. I'll check with Jacob and see when he's free. He's got a pretty packed schedule, but I'm sure we can make something work. There's a hospital charity event. Maybe I can get you guys to attend, and you can talk to him and fill him out. Lori claps her hands together, looking like she just won the lottery. Great. You just let me know. I can't wait to grill him. Zara laughs. Grill him? Lori, are you forgetting he basically signs your paychecks? You might want to take it easy on him. I roll my eyes. Jacob's not the type to get scared off easily. Trust me, he's more likely to turn the tables on you. Lori raises an eyebrow. Oh, is that so? Now I'm even more intrigued. This is going to be interesting. Zara leans back in her chair, a sly smile on her face. I'm looking forward to it. And who knows, maybe we'll see some sparks fly. I smirk, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Maybe so. As I walk away, I can't help but feel a twinge of anxiety. Introducing Jacob to my friends outside of work is a big step, even if it's all part of our arrangement. But deep down, I'm curious to see how he'll handle himself around them and how they'll react to him. One thing's for sure, it will be anything but boring.
This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you.
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
I can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie bundle from Tyla Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Tyla does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylaWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla.
Chapter 19. Paul drives us back to Manhattan, the car filled with an awkward silence. Jacob breaks it first. What's the name of your dad's auto body shop? He leans back, casually resting an arm on the seat. Jamal's Auto Repair, I reply, staring out the window at the passing city lights. He's been running it for as long as I can remember. Must be good with his hands, Jacob muses, a hint of admiration in his voice. I mean, fixing cars and all. Yeah, he's good at it, I say. He always jokes that he can fix anything with wheels. Jacob chuckles. And your mom? What does she do? She's a homemaker, I explain, turning to look at him. But she also volunteers at the community center, keeps herself busy. That's admirable, Jacob says, nodding. What kind of work does she do at the center? Mostly organizing events and helping out with the kids, I say, smiling at the memory of her bustling around the center. Jacob's expression softens. Sounds like she's got a big heart. She does, I agree. How did they meet? He continues, making me chuckle at his curiosity. Truthfully, I have no idea. I don't know much about their past. They never really talked about it. Jacob raises an eyebrow. That's surprising. No stories from their youth? I shake my head. Nope. They've always been pretty tight-lipped about it. Just the occasional anecdote here and there. Interesting, Jacob says, tapping his fingers on his knee. Maybe they're hiding some wild adventures. Maybe, I say with a laugh. He tilts his head, studying me. But don't you want to know more? Dig a little deeper? Well, yeah, of course, I admit, a little defensive. But it's their story to tell, not mine to pry out. Jacob smiles, leaning back in his seat. Fair point. I just find family histories fascinating. I can't help but laugh. Really? Mr. Playboy is into family histories? That's a new one. He chuckles, shaking his head. You'd be surprised what I'm into. Besides, everyone has a story, right? Even me. I roll my eyes playfully. Oh, I know your story, Mr. Stone. It's all over the tabloids. Not you too, he says as he covers his heart, smirking. I'm struck for a moment at how handsome he looks, and innocently so. Like for once, he's not trying to be anything but himself. But seriously, he continues, breaking my moment of awe. It's interesting how people end up where they are. Like, what's the craziest thing your family ever did? I think back, a fond smile tugging at my lips. Well, we spent hours going through family albums and memorabilia. My mom has this massive collection of old photos and trinkets. It's like stepping into a time capsule. Jacob's eyes light up. That sounds amazing. Any embarrassing pictures? Loads. I laugh. My mom made sure to capture every awkward moment. There's one where I'm dressed as a pumpkin for Halloween. I look like an orange marshmallow. He laughs, a genuine hearty sound that makes my heart flutter. I'd pay to see that. Maybe I'll show you sometime, I tease, feeling a little more at ease. But only if you share something embarrassing about yourself. Deal, he says, holding out his hand. But be warned, I was a pretty adorable kid. I shake his hand, the warmth of his touch sending a jolt through me. I'll be the judge of that. Jacob continues to steal glances at me as we ride through the city, and he makes not attempt to go unnoticed. I find myself feeling warm under his attention. You mentioned your grandfather raised you. What was that like? I smile, leaning back in my seat. Oh, Grandpa was my world. My parents were always working, trying to get their business off the ground. So it was just me and Grandpa most of the time. Jacob nods, intrigued. Sounds like you were close. Very, I say, warmth flooding my chest. He was the one who taught me to ride a bike, helped me with my homework, and even taught me how to cook. We used to make these ridiculous pancake shapes every Sunday morning. Jacob raises an eyebrow, smirking. Like what? Dinosaurs, spaceships, you name it. I laugh. They never looked like what they were supposed to, but he always pretended they did. Jacob smiles gently. He sounds like a fun guy. He is, I say, my voice softening. He always made sure I felt loved, even when my parents couldn't be there. He nods, like he's engrossed by everything coming out of my mouth. I'm really grateful for my parents' hard work, I say, breaking the silence. They managed to lead solid middle-class lives. You know, they even supported me through nursing school. I appreciate that more than I can put into words. I'm grateful for how they raised you as well. Jacob looks at me, his expression softening. You're the woman I wish I'd met earlier. I can't help but snort, hiding the intense squeeze in my chest. Oh, come on. You probably wouldn't have noticed me back then. He raises an eyebrow. I would have noticed. I would have noticed. Really? I challenge, smirking.
And that's where we're going to put a pause on pleasure.
Looks like the rest of this chapter is just too naughty to put on the air.
As much as we'd love to share every little detail, we've got to stick to YouTube's guidelines to keep these free audiobooks coming.
They've got some rules about what we can show, and we wouldn't want to risk losing the chance to bring you more content.
As frustrating as it is to build the tension only to be interrupted, Miss Tyla always knows how to make it up to you.
You can find the full, uncut scene over at tylawalker.com.
With an entire library of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks, Miss Tyla's collection is waiting for you.
If you use code SAVE40, you'll get 40% off any digital product, even on bundles that are already discounted.
So don't let the fun stop here. Head over to tylawalker.com and treat yourself with Miss Tyla.
Well, this story looks like your standard fake marriage you're expecting from Miss Tyla, doesn't it? Girl, you think you know how this is gonna end? You think some bumps and bruises and then Jacob and Nyla gonna solve everything? You have no idea what's coming, baby. But stick with me, and you're gonna find out. New episodes drop every Tuesday or Thursday, or buy the whole season at tylawalker.com.